You're listening to Mama's Garage Podcast.
Welcome back to Mama's Garage. Guys, today I'm sitting here and John, is it Kirtland or Kirkland?
Kirtland.
Kirtland with the T.
Not
Okay.
like the store. No,
Right, okay, that's
no,
what I
not the
thought.
store.
I bought cookies from the Kirtland
not,
brand.
Not the store, not the cookies, not
Okay.
the Costco brand.
All right, I'm sure you've dealt with that. Okay, I can literally see it there, so I have a visual. We're good. Okay. You were my English teacher for third trimester sophomore year. So we didn't have a lot of time together, especially because I also had I was in physical therapy a lot
that's
back
right,
then.
you
So
were,
I was always in and out of that place. But I have a lot of respect for you because you're a coach and you're a teacher. We were just talking about the burnout from all that. So you just take the floor, explain what it's like to do both those things at once, because spreading yourself thin, you can only do that for so long, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. So when I first started teaching in 2005, I was a middle school English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I was coaching baseball. I helped coach basketball. I've always been a coach. I was an athlete in high school and college, and my college coach had left. He left IU.
Mm-hmm.
I would say not my college coach, but he was a coach I worked with closely. He brought me over to the YMCA he was at and gave me an opportunity to coach. And I loved it. So it really kind of brought me into the education piece of it as well. And then, like I said, that first year I started coaching and teaching, and I never stopped. Like, it was something that my wife and I talk about all the time, is that there was only 1 year ever, and that was when I was transitioning to be an athletic director, that I didn't coach that summer. So I never knew a summer that didn't involve coaching through the summer, that didn't involve me being in the school every day minus moratorium week. I was there all the time. It was very awkward. From 2005 until 2023.
Okay, yeah.
I was coaching, I was teaching, I was, in some cases, I was also the head athletic director, I was an assistant athletic director, I was doing something in the athletic department, I was always doing something. So I was always overly involved with everything in that.
This is fun because I, as a band kid, because I played drums all through middle school and high school, I never stepped foot in the weight room once. So we're like two. It's very weird that that's
But
fun.
I've been in the band room more than a few times.
Good, yeah. You know about the drum room? It's the offset.
Yes.
Yeah, I have way more memories there than any room in the whole building. Probably. Maybe the cafeteria, but
I was in band in middle school and high school.
Oh, were you?
I was, and music is something. It's something about you that also fascinates me so much. Is that I'm not good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't carry a tune. I'm not. I joke with my wife. I joke with a lot of people. Like, I have the voice of an angel when I sing, and it's couldn't be further from the truth. And then even playing instruments. I played trumpet, baritone, tried tuba for a little bit, tried trombone for a little bit.
So all brass stuff.
Yeah, brass instruments.
Okay, great.
I did all that, and it was one of those things that I tried, and I just always struggled with it.
Mm-hmm.
But musicians fascinate me. So, I have a really big record collection. I always, when I was growing up, even through high school, I would get a paycheck from my job, and the first place I would go would be the record store and go get a CD. And it was just, I was a music kid. I love music, even though I couldn't do it. It was more you have a gift, and I can't comprehend that gift. So to me, it was I just wanted to absorb all of it from there.
Because it has to just do with whatever genre of brain someone has. Because I was also talking to my aunt about this, where it's she's like, I'm illiterate. She goes, she's just same you. It's she loves it, and she's fascinated by it, but her brain just doesn't wrap her head around it and stuff. I got into drums when I was 11, so my brain took it in, but also grew around it. So it's I'll never not pick apart music, my brain and stuff. But I just think I think the world has to have musicians, but also people who want to play but can't play, because that way those people love, and it's like a cycle, so people recreate and then people absorb. And so I feel even if I don't think you sound like you have a lot of things else going on fulfilling you, but if you want to do music, I think instead of not saying you're doing this, but instead of worrying about I wish I could play, just be oh no, I've certainly, you make the strongest fans, essentially, because a lot of musicians will be very critical, and they might be really stuck in I don't listen to that genre or whatever,
Right.
And but I guess I don't really know how to break it apart, as in how I guess it is a gift, but to me it doesn't feel like I'm accessing anything extra. It just feels my brain just constantly doing it.
It's like breathing.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
It's like breathing. Or I tell people all the time, like one of the the great lessons that every teacher goes through in their first year of trying to be a teacher, or even going to college to be a teacher, is that you have to teach someone how to tie their shoes. And if you're like, I'm going to teach you how to tie your shoes, teach me how to tie my shoes, and you take what they say quite literally, it is the most frustrating thing to teach someone to do, because it seems like it's such a simple task. You know how to do it. It's so easy. It's like breathing and walking and chewing gum. You don't take any effort to it.
It's true. Yeah.
But
chewing gum,
once you have to teach someone who's never done it, and you're like, well, just do this. It's like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
And cross the strings, and I sit there and cross my arms with the strings, like, no, don't be like that. It's like, no, I'm doing what you're told me to do here. So it is, I think that's where the fascination is. It's no different than I look at an athlete, like, why do people sometimes, become so fascinated with athletes, is that because, they have a gift that you can't just unlock. Like
you're right. Yeah.
Even as a young athlete myself, there were guys on my team I looked up at because they could do things I couldn't do. There was a ceiling they could touch and I couldn't get there, and it always drove me to be better. But at the same time, it always kind of just like, it fascinated me how they got there. Like, wow, like it almost seems like they're doing it effortlessly, and they're not. Like,
right.
It's the iceberg theory. You only see what's on the top of the iceberg. You don't see all the depth below it.
Okay, I like analogies. That's good.
You see the success, but you don't see the hard work, and every day they grind into it.
That's true.
I think more and more with social media now, and the more accessible professional athletes are and collegiate athletes, you can see the grind. You see what they go through. You see that day to day for them.
Yeah, like, like meal prep and like, working out 3 times a day. I've heard like college athlete, there's like, they have to do school and, get ready for the playoffs and stuff. So I can imagine how stressful that is too.
My freshman year of college, I swam. We had, basically all of our classes, my classes were starting at 8:30 in the morning, 8 or 8:30, and I was done by 12. But I went back to back to back to back to back. And then at 12, I had I had an hour break for homework, eat, and then I would go to practice. My second practice, I had morning practice before that. And then after that, then I would go eat again, and then have the evening to do studying or classwork or whatever I do.
Or whatever freshmen get up to.
We did some things. We did some things. I have a photo album of pictures that sometimes I look at like, wow, we did some things.
What years were you in college? Like, so you said 05 was when you were...
98.
Okay.
So I graduated high school in 98, and I went to Vincennes University.
Cool, all right.
My grades were okay. They weren't great. They were kind of borderline. I went and took my SAT, and this is when the SAT really mattered for me to get in.
Yeah, because now it's kind of a...
Yeah, I can tell you I probably misspelled my name, because there's no way anyone scored as low as I have in the history of the SAT.
You were Kirkland, weren't
you? Yes, I screwed something up.
2 capital K's backwards.
Yes, I screwed something up so badly, and I had a couple places that I was looking to swim with for some scholarship money. The SAT score was so low, they were like, "There's no way."
Damn,
absolutely no way. So Vincennes offered me an opportunity to go there, to swim, to be an athlete, and it was a great experience. And then after a year there, I transferred to IU, and then the rest is history. So, I really wanted to go to IU. I always wanted to go to IU. Grew up in Bloomington. I tell people that being an IU fan is one thing, but growing up in Bloomington, I grew up in it.
Yeah, right. And also like the campus and the town's so integrated too, because Kirkwood is like it goes right into campus.
Yeah, my dad worked for the university for a while, and then he didn't necessarily work for the university, but worked with the university with the business he worked with. So he knew everybody. A lot of the guys I swam with in high school and played baseball with and basketball, they all went to. They had dads and moms who were professors and staff members.
I'm sure plenty of alumni in the family too.
And then all the former athletes live in town a lot of times or stay around, and you just see them everywhere. And it wasn't uncommon, like as a kid, like you just be walking the street and you see Bob Knight just hanging out.
You're like, wow.
There he is. You don't get awestruck by it because he's just there. I remember John Mellencamp. He used to go to rallies. He loved if there was thing he loved rallies of us. And anytime we'd be out, see him at rallies, like there's Mellencamp just hanging out. All right, just doing his thing,
Yeah, dude, that's
It was crazy, but growing up there, you're not just a fan. You're living the experience, and you live it all through high school. It's kind of like a lighter version of it. So going away to Vincennes, I was kind of like, this isn't like this.
Oh yeah,
It was pretty. It was like a step down in a
Mhm.
way. It was very dull to be. I was like, oh,
right. But I forgot you grew up in Bloomington because you told me a story. You went to Bloomington South, is that correct? Because
that's correct. Yeah.
because there's 3 guys that you went to school with that did a bank heist. Is that
There
true?
was, That's true. That is a true story.
So
we graduated high school. We graduated high school.
I forgot about that till just
Yeah.
now.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
so happy I remembered. Let's
we,
go.
We graduated high school. On a Saturday. It was like maybe the first Saturday in June or whatever. And we graduate. It may have been a week later. I don't even
Really?
know.
I thought it was like years after.
No, it was like a week after we graduated, maybe 2 weeks. At least that's the way I remember it. Maybe I could be dead wrong, but it was very soon after. And I opened up the newspaper. I grabbed the newspaper and I look at the front page, and there is the high school photo of 4 guys I went to high school.
4 guys.
Four
Oh,
guys.
wow.
2 of which I graduated with just recently. And they knocked off a federal bank. And it was like,
That's ridiculous.
oh my, and they were already gone. They were on the run. They were gone. It was like, holy smokes. And I remember like even running into classmates of mine, like, do you see this? You see this? And I, we'd say their names like, yeah, oh my God, I can't believe it. And it was the most bizarre way. I mean, they ended up getting caught, but it was like, it took a while to get them. It was not easy to get them.
Wow. So
I'd heard a story, and this is the story I heard. It could be also dead wrong. I don't know. This is pre-internet.
Yeah.
So,
which is cool. It fascinates me because
word
I've
of
always been
mouth
around
was
it.
like,
you know?
that was everything. So the story I heard was that they took the money, they took the cash of the money, and they bought a car with it. And I was always told that if you spent over a certain amount in cash, it was flagged, and they would flag the purchase. So that's how they first tracked them, was to the car. And then somewhere along the way, because they were going, I want to say they were going to Florida or Mexico. They were going south.
Yeah.
And they got a certain point away, and one of the boys called home and apologized to his parents and said, I can't do this anymore. And he told them where they were. So then they turned around and went north to Canada. And I want to say they got arrested like right close to the border, like in Vermont, New Hampshire, somewhere up that way. In New York, maybe they got arrested up there. And I remember it was like a few weeks later, there's the picture of those guys getting cuffed on the front page. I'm like, oh my God.
That's,
But yeah, that did happen. Yeah, there was guys that I sat next to in class that knocked off a bank, and they didn't know who they were for a while. It was a good amount of time before they figured out who it was. And I think it was the purchase of the car. They purchased something that flagged it.
And so that was the lead, and then
I think so, and that's how I remember it. But
Yeah,
that was 30 years ago almost.
Not was just like how bank security is now and everything, but with social media, like that you can't get away with that anymore. There's no way, absolutely.
There's no way. I mean, tracking phones.
No, for easily,
watches,
yeah, right.
There's
whatever it is.
I mean, you could track the GPS in a car now. I mean, there is absolutely no way that happens, and it didn't even happen then. I mean, I don't know how they even pulled it off. I don't know, but it was. Yeah, it was. There have been some wild moments like that, and it's just you open the paper and like, whoa, what the heck?
Especially the paper, because it's such a you're just trying to observe what's around you. Oh, dude,
I know
second
that guy.
second period.
I know that guy. Hey,
yeah, wow.
What happened to him?
Was it like so how big was your graduating class? Like, because mine was 300, I think. And that's typically how big Martinsville's classes are.
I don't remember.
Was it bigger than? Okay.
Oh, it was big.
Sir, okay.
I remember when I graduated, they had said we were the largest class in South's history.
Wow.
And it was some stupid number. It was over 500. It was some dumb number. I can't remember what it was. And then the following year after that, they told them, you're the largest class. And it was they kept growing and growing and growing until a certain point. Then it finally leveled off. But we used to have graduation at the IU auditorium, and we were the first class that they did at Assembly Hall, for the purpose of between North and South, our classes were too big.
Oh wow, okay.
So we couldn't host them there. And I want to say the auditorium was maybe under construction too. They were doing a renovation as well. But I think they've held it for the 2 high schools at Assembly Hall at IU ever since. They may have moved it in between then. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't followed it too closely. So, but I know they had it for a long time at Assembly Hall.
Well, because I asked that because if you see how close were you with the I guess we'll call them the robbers the dude because like
not incredibly close.
but at least aware though.
Oh yeah, I mean like the two guys I graduated with, for sure. I knew them. Like we had classes together. You know, I knew of them, and they didn't go to elementary school with me. So like in Bloomington, there's 5 or 6 elementary schools, and we funneled into 2 middle schools and 2 high schools, and there's probably more than 5 or 6, probably 10 of them. But
who knows? I don't have no idea.
I don't
a little too old for that.
I don't want to go through all the list of them.
No,
to
of
figure it
course.
out, but the no, and when so we funneled into, and you may have all these kids from elementary school, and then you get to middle school, and it's like, whoa, there's like 5 times as many people.
Right. Yeah.
Where did this all come from? And so you know there were a few kids like you just knew them, but then like you got to know them through the years. I remember being in class with those guys, not together, maybe individually, but we had a class or 2 together.
Right. Okay.
They were not in band with me. They weren't athletes. They were guys.
Yeah.
School.
Just a couple of robbers.
It's what they are now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, so
I think they're out of jail. I think they're both out of jail. I think they're all out of jail by now.
I mean, well, to be held for what 27 years?
Well, and I don't know. I mean, obviously you have like parole, good behavior.
Yeah.
They probably looked at age and that. I don't know.
Yeah, fair.
I don't have all the details of it.
Not been to jail either, so it's hard to. I don't know. Not a lot of experience there.
Let's put it this way: I've seen one of them posting on Facebook at one time. So
Okay.
that was a few years ago, so I know.
I know they do it like like with good behavior, you can have access to like like an LG phone.
I know. No, I think one for sure is out. I think both are out. I think the 3 or 4 of them are all out, but I don't know for sure. I'm not trying to. I don't know what they're up to now. It's so funny because like I've talked to friends of mine about this. Like, with social media, what's the point of a class reunion anymore?
That's true.
Like class reunions, like
Sorry.
oh you're fine. It's okay.
That's the wrong pipe.
Just go ahead and die right
here.
Die right here.
17 minutes in.
Final episode.
Yeah.
But no, I mean you don't. The point of a class reunion, like for my parents, was because you didn't see these people.
Yeah.
And people moved away. It was a chance to come home.
Right.
Reconnect.
That's true.
Here it is. I remember going. My parents are from Gary, Indiana, and they went. We go back home.
What a place.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But they're from Gary, and so we go back to Gary and stay with my grandparents, stay with my aunts and uncles, and they would go to their class reunions. And I remember seeing pictures, stuff like that. But for me, we had our 20th class reunion. It was so haphazardly put together that like I sat there and I remember talking to a guy. His name's Abe, and I was like, "How you doing?" He's like, "Good." He's like, "So, see, this is within 2 minutes. Like, well, we already know each other.
That's it. Yep.
We're on Facebook. We see each other. We're on Instagram.
Yeah, I wonder if that is going to die out because I never thought about that.
It doesn't really. You know where everyone's at. You know what everyone's doing. I mean, I guess it's a chance for everyone to face see each other. But
yeah. But because there is power to that, but it's not enough because the Facebook takes away from that, for sure.
Right. You don't have to necessarily talk to them all the time, but you feel connected with them at least. Like, I ran into a guy I went to high school with at the Queens of the Stone Age concert last year, and we catched up, and he literally was asking like specific questions. Like he follows me on Facebook, like he's my friends, and he's like, "Hey, how is so and so's baseball tournament go? Hey, I saw you guys were that." It's like, what's the point of that? When they already know everything about you, especially the people you care about to know. Like, there are people like over time you're like, I don't really, whatever. We weren't close then.
Or those people, I'm sure you forgot. You're like, oh, I forgot about that person.
Right now, I mean, there's some people who I would really love to know what ended up happening to them. They're not on social media.
Okay.
I don't know where they went.
But if they're on social media, the odds are they're probably not going to at the reunion either.
Correct.
So, yeah.
But I would love to see like, hey, what happened to you? Just curiously, but at the same time, I'm sure they're living their best life, doing stuff, and
sure, yeah, they're still on MySpace.
They are. I mean, with their best friend Kyle or Brad, whatever the best friends they want to have. Got their sick playlist of My Chemical Romance songs.
MCR, dude. Yeah. Yeah. What were the big bands when you were? Because with now there's streaming's involved, so everyone has their own personalized. I have so many playlists and stuff, but. So in the 90s, so late 90s, so yeah, you're from mid to late 90s.
So I'm an 80s kid.
Okay.
I'm a 90s teenager.
Right.
And I'm an early 2000s young adult.
So I think if I could switch around when I would probably do what year were you born? 80.
80.
80. Okay.
80, I was
80.
born
Wow, perfect.
January 1980. I was
Yeah.
days away from being a 79 kid.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of perfect then.
so for me, it was, I've had this conversation with people, and
Mhm.
I think about it often. It's like, I grew up in a household where music was played all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, born in 47, he listened to a lot of Beach Boys,
Yeah.
Chuck Berry,
Right.
Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Bopper, like the pop music of his era.
Mm-hmm.
Stones were big for him,
Right.
but that's where his wheelhouse was. You got to think, usually most people find their love of music, their real love, like their favorite genre of music, somewhere between like 11 and 14 years old.
Yep. That probably tracks. Yeah.
And
It's very hard for me to listen to. I have to force myself to do it. You know.
So for him, like when is that age frame? That's right there. Beach Boys,
Yeah.
Stones,
That's around this right at the beginning
Chuck
of the
Berry,
60s.
that's
Yeah.
the early 60s, late 50s. That's where
Mhm.
he's at. Because in 1960 he turns 13. So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
for my mom though, she's born in 52. So for her big music was like the Beatles, and she liked the Beach Boys. She liked the Stones. She liked
Yeah.
the stuff. But
Any Elvis at all?
Elvis was more or less like really liked, but it
Mhm.
wasn't listened to a bunch.
Okay. Fair.
That was kind of like he was that just a slight generation behind them. Like
Mhm.
that's the early 50s people.
Okay.
As you're getting into Elvis in the mid 50s, late 50s, that's where it's like, oh, that was my guy.
Gotcha.
But like for her, my mom was obsessed with the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel.
Okay.
So
Awesome. Yeah.
you got this wide range of stuff, and then like, here I come, 1980, and I'm listening to this music they're playing. At the same time, they listen to the radio, pop radio, also MTV. It was.
Oh yeah. Of course.
You're not like listening to music. You're experiencing it. You're visually taking
for the
it in.
first time too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow. Yeah.
growing up in that, my friends were always allowed to watch MTV.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't not allowed in my house. I never turned it on a whole
Mhm.
lot, but we watch it there, and it's just in the background. So like you're getting exposed to like what I see is like apex pop music. Pop music of the 80s is apex. Like
Mhm.
it is very synth. It's very
Right.
put together. It's very
Mhm.
almost like manufactured.
Yeah. Sure.
You
Mhm.
have the idols of like Michael Jackson, the boy band idols of that
Yeah.
era too. You've got Madonna,
Mhm.
Paul Abdul. You got Tiffany. You got like these like female stars based on looks and also music and everything.
Right.
So then you get to the 90s, and it goes kind of alternative. It goes grunge.
Yes.
You have hair metal. There's there, but then
Mhm.
it just even pop music kind of takes a turn. It has a little bit of like an alt vibe to it,
Mhm.
and it takes this weird, cool turn. But like, it just gets a little dark, and it's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
I love grunge. I love rock music.
Mhm.
One of my favorite bands is Pearl Jam and Nirvana.
Oh, yep.
And Alice in Chains was
Perfect.
my band. Like I listen to Alice in Chains to no end. But
Mhm.
like, I'm 12, 13 years old, and I'm listening to Beastie Boys, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, 10 drops,
Oh,
Nirvana, Never Mind drops.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause that was 91, right?
92, yeah.
90, yeah. Something
Red Hot
around
Chili
there.
Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex
Yep.
Magic drops.
Mhm.
You got even smaller bands like Ugly Kid Joe
Mhm.
and Cracker and Candlebox. They're coming out.
Wasn't Metallica's Black Album come out around the time
Right
too?
around the
Yeah,
time, too.
because
Mhm.
and Use Your Illusions, Guns N' you're
Yep,
big, yeah,
Yep. GNR's Use Your Illusion, the double album.
yeah. My dad told him about Ruoff before they I guess it was Deer Creek back
Right.
then, but yeah,
But
before
it's-
they dropped that though.
But you can look at pop music at the time. Everyone's trying to find that sound. They're trying
Mhm.
to find that alt sound to it. There's a techno surge, but then the late '90s, it has more of a back to '80s feel. Like pop music takes a big rise.
Mhm.
The female pop star, like the Madonna, the Tiffany, the Paula Abduls, becomes Britney Spears. Christina
Yeah.
Aguilera,
Okay.
Jessica
Yeah.
Simpson.
It's kind of like a pendulum
The
too.
boy
right.
bands come back, man.
Mhm.
You got NSYNC and Backstreet Boys in 98 Degrees.
Yeah.
And then rock music kind of just falls back.
Yeah.
But it goes back to metal. It goes
Mhm.
back to Limp Bizkit, Korn, Kid Rock,
Yeah. Mhm.
Puddle of Mud. You got all these bands that are like more edgier now, or more metal
Mhm.
size. And I think once you get to there, then you go into, the early 2000s, and don't keep in mind you have other genres happening there as well.
Right. Like,
know,
but when I think of
well-
like 2001, I'm just like, oh, that's like Blink-182's "Take Off Your Pants
Right.
and Jacket."
Punk rock
That's
first come
awesome.
out,
yeah.
yeah. But
All those
even-
bands come out. Yeah.
But even during that time
That
too, you
genre.
have the evolution of rap and hip hop. From when I was
Yes.
a kid,
Okay. Right.
rap and hip hop was, it was kind of this it was a cool artistic genre, and it was how you could, rap battles and diss tracks and everything there, and it was, how could you get access to it, because it was still kind of there, but it wasn't there, and then it kind of pops out a little bit near the end of the 80s, and then it goes to dark, just like art rock. It got dark. You got the gangster rap, got a little more East Coast, West Coast, and then it kind of falls back again. You get to like the late 90s, and now we're back to pop rap music. So you have like the Puff Daddies, the Mays, you've got Nelly and the Sick Lunatics, you got Cash Money, No Limit Soldiers, you got Ja Rule, and you got Rough Riders. You got the whole crews are going, and that's evolving too, and it's just a melting pot of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So music is, again, I love music, and I mean, I have things that I have like records that go back to like the 1920s. Like I have like a Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, where they first performed bebop.
Whoa.
I got that on record, on vinyl.
Yeah, because a drum set is like about 100 years old right now. That's about where it's at. So it's cool. It's easy to trace back where everything comes from. So when I was in jazz band, I kind of was able to be exposed to a lot of that stuff. So that's cool. Like the 20s though, the roaring 20s.
Oh, and it's crazy. Like when you hear the sounds, like, I mean, we Miles Davis, Some Kind of Blue, that album. We played that for all three kids for them going to sleep. That was the soundtrack of their sleep as growing up. But when I found that, it was a great story of it. Like for me, blues is like Chicago blues. Like electric blues is my favorite type of blues. But when I found that album, it was someone had spent a lifetime trying to get the original lithograph vinyls of that concert, of that performance, and it was 12 separate lithograph records. And what they did was they finally got them, they put them all together, and it's played in Harlem. Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, they're there. They were just kind of like, hey, let's do this. They were just kind of freelancers, like, and he even says like, this is a new thing. We're just gonna call it bebop. And they do it, and it's kind of rough, but then they did a 4-night stay, and it perfected it there.
Right. Yeah.
And then Gillespie leaves, Parker stays there. I think one of the two switch, but one leaves, one stays, and then they try to like connect, and they never do again. But it was the only time those two played together in one venue on a thing, and it was one of those things that people are like, "Wow, you actually opened the records?" Like, yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What's the point of buying it if you're not going to listen to it?
Yeah, no, I don't understand either.
But I listened to that thing probably 50 to 100 times. Just like, it's so cool. Like, this is the one thing I do like about newer records today, is that they will go back to certain concerts, like old concerts. I have an album, Lou Reed's very first show he performed solo, and you hear the crowd, you hear everything. It's in New York, and it's like, close your eyes and you can almost feel yourself in the crowd with them. Yeah,
because you capture like the moments, because like in a studio session, that's you do the drums by themselves, everything's all it's not together, There's live albums, of course, but but with an actual live concert, that's a very special, very, very special thing, because that's wild, man. And also, like, with you said it was 12 actual vinyls, so like, is that 24 sides? Is that right?
I think so. And I'm gonna have to relook it back up.
Yeah, sure, but
it is.
But I mean, that's like a time travel destination, and they have it captured. It's crazy.
When I read the story, because it was in the insert, and it was talking about how he went to garage sales. He was like traveling the country trying to find like people. Like finding clues of people who had maybe something like that, estate sales of like people he knew probably had copies of it, and trying to find them and piece them all together. And he was like, took him, decades to put it together, and it was really cool. Like, the story is super cool about it, but it's to see like a genesis of a form of music.
And then if you trace that back, because that genre influence, that's what rock is. It's all that's the 2 and 4 the backbeat stuff, which influences everything else after that. So that's the like the crux of it,
The rhythm and blues.
It's like the first, like the mitochondria. It's wild.
Well, even the rhythm and blues section, of music in the 1940s. Jazz rhythm and blues, and then you go to the blues, and then you get into like what you see coming out of like in the 1950s of like Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry and those guys, and you see that grow into like the 60s and 70s when you get like the Buddy Guys and the B.B. Kings and even Eric Clapton and Cream, what they're doing, and it even influences guys like Howlin' Wolf. I love Howlin' Wolf. I encourage if anybody is into the blues or even wants to discover really where so many of like your modern day epic level guitarists, your Keith Richards, your
like John Mayer,
John,
like, yeah,
all of them, they will all go back to Howlin' Wolf. I remember there was an interview I saw of the Rolling Stones, and they were like, "Where did you get your sound?" And Keith Richards popped in front. This is like the first show of them. He goes, Howlin' Wolf. He's like, if you don't listen to Howlin' Wolf, you don't listen to Stones. And so when I found that out, I was like, "Oh, who's this Howlin' Wolf guy?"
Yeah, do some deep diving.
I
do some
want
research.
And I was like, "Wow, this guy's awesome." And then you listen to Howlin' Wolf, like, "Well, who was your inspiration?" Well, I was inspired by Robert Johnson. Like, who's Robert Johnson? Delta Blues. Like, oh, I want to check that out. Then you're listening to that, and yeah, it's fascinating. It's really cool when you can start hearing like, this person inspired me. Okay, and listen, who inspired them? Who inspired them? How far back does it go? It's super cool, like how you go back that far and you find and discover people like that. Like that's, I think, one of the things I try to teach people like you and try to teach all my students, like, don't stop learning. Always, whatever fascinates you, whatever you have a joy for, passion for, keep learning it, keep trying to discover it, because it's not a bad thing to know and try to learn and try to be knowledgeable.
Of course not. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
In a world where today, like, I think sometimes people, look at, I just need to know what I need to know and move on. It's like,
right.
Well,
yeah, which school can feel like that. We're just like, I don't really want to be here. I just got to get the passing grade, but I think it's important if you feel yourself, drawn to one thing or the other, you should, go towards that. If I had gone to college, I would have had a big time math background, because that's what my brain. I feel like a lot of that has to go in hand with music too, because like with rhythms, it's so mathematic, and I'm very comfortable with that, and I just find.
No, yeah, I had you in English. I know you're a math guy.
Yeah, that's gonna go in the clip. That's really good.
I remember. No worries.
Yeah, well, yeah. Who could actually read Hamlet? Like, I know you have to know that very, very well now.
It's wild. Like, my favorite story to teach, my favorite story to teach, to read, to understand, to learn, everything was the Odyssey.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the Odyssey. The Odyssey to me has, and it's a breakdown of several small stories that make the epic what it is. But like, I love that tale. Like, to me, the Odyssey is so brilliantly put together, and you think it's the poet Homer is doing this, and for his whole life he's just reciting it. He's like, well, let me tell you the story of Odysseus, and then the whole book that we read, he just like, by heart, here it is. This is the story, and it's like, my God, I can't get through a chapter without remembering certain pieces of it. And that's why, that movie's coming out next year, and you bet your bottom dollar I will be first in line.
Probably a couple times, showing, right? Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait for that movie. It's going to be something.
Who's directing it?
Chris Nolan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Nolan's next
that's
movie.
going to be an event.
Right, and
I'm sure I saw. Is there a trailer for it yet? Or like, did they tease anything?
So there's a teaser out, but you cannot get it online. He has a block on it. So.
Oh, wow. He's crazy.
We went to the theater to go see Superman, and they played it beforehand, and I was like, I had chills. I'm like,
you're like, I don't care about Superman now.
Here we go. This is
wow.
gonna be it. I cannot wait for it. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, I love the Odyssey. And when I taught it, we would teach. I would teach the book, the story, and have fun with it. But at the same time, people don't realize that "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" by the Coen Brothers is a direct adaptation of the Odyssey in the 1930s Delta South. So there are so many parallels. So we do a compare and contrast essay on that, and it was just an excuse for me to watch one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, for sure. And that's fun.
Listen to some of my favorite music. I love that soundtrack, and
to do it in school, or like kind of get paid, or whatever it is. It's always it hits harder when you're in a classroom setting.
Well, and I have students today. I have former students today that I taught for almost 20 years. I have a lot of students who will reach out to me and tell me, like, I cannot watch "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou." I cannot see it without thinking about you. I remember that. I remember just everything, and I'm sitting there going, like, there's the Cyclops. Oh, yep. Yeah. There's the Sirens. Yep. And it's like, oh yeah, he called it. I remember, and you're like, why do I remember this stuff? And it's like, when you have someone who's passionate about what they're doing, you're gonna remember it. Now, I can tell you, like, there's, when I was at Martinsville, like, we had some curriculum that we did that I wasn't personally a huge fan of.
Right. I
still did it, but like, there was a couple things I kind of had a lot of fun with. I was like, well, we can make it pretty fun here. I liked teaching Frankenstein.
Yeah, because I was in Miss Shoemaker's class for Frankenstein. We read the abridged version, and
But the approach I took to that was different than her and different from anybody else. And actually, I Henderson came to me and said, "Are you teaching the book this way?" And I said, "Yeah." And I explained why, and he goes, "That's brilliant." But at the same time, he was like, "You're wrong." I'm like, "No, I get it." But I want them to continually think. And the idea was that, and awesome, another movie coming out this fall. I can't wait. It's Frankenstein.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Guillermo del Toro's doing it.
Okay.
And so, but
cool.
The idea of it was that at no point in the story is Frankenstein's monster and Frankenstein together around other people. So the question is the monster simply a figment of his imagination? And is it like
It's heavy.
like the movie Fight Club, is he the one, Frankenstein, doing everything and then saying it's the monster and having an alter ego past? So I throw that out
If you
there.
had just said Fight Club, I would have been like, yeah, I'll read Frankenstein.
So I do that, and throughout the whole series of the story, I'm like, how many of you truly believe the monster is real or is it part of his imagination? Look at the clues. And it's going back and forth all the time. Like, people are like, no, I thought so, but now I think they go back and forth.
Yeah, I love discussions in English class. Those was one of my favorite.
And then you get to the end of the story, and the speaker of the story, the guy who's telling the story from, for Frankenstein, he's there in the room with the monster.
Yeah.
So it's the first time that anybody has physically seen the monster, because they always talk about he was there, he was this, he's scared, he killed.
Yeah, because he's kind of just observing almost the whole time.
And
it's been years since I've read it. But.
Well, when Victor Frankenstein and the monster finally meet, like on the hill in the Swiss or wherever it was, they finally meet at the hill during the storm. There's no one around, and then the monster leaves, and then someone finds Victor, and it's like, well, where's the monster? And so it was teaching in that way. Like, I thought that, like Romeo and Juliet, I enjoyed teaching that because I didn't teach it from two star-crossed lovers in love. I taught it from what happens when you have bad parenting. Like, you have these parents.
Yeah, changing the angle is really fun. Reframing it.
These bad parents who basically are not watching their kids or caring about their kids. They're just kind of there. And these kids at 14 years old, what happens when you give a 14-year-old the full go to do whatever they want without any structure or balance or anything to it? Now, Juliet's parents think they do have that, but they never did. And Romeo's parents are just non-existent. He's just kind of doing his own thing. And, even as it escalates and people die and things happen, where are the parents? Where are the adults? Where are the people in this? And you look at the priest in that, he's the enabler. He's the one like, oh, no, it's fine, I'm your friend. What happens when we're adults and we're just trying to be friends? Like, what does that look like? And it kind of opens the eyes to kids of like, oh, like, my parents do look out for me. My parents are doing that. Oh, they always talk about my uncle being like this, and like, I can see that now. It kind of more gives them the concept of like,
yeah, because you gotta have structure, and like rules are there for a reason. I was like, like the cliche, like rules are meant to be broken. It's like, well, they're there for
right.
So you have like a reason to, if we didn't have rules, we wouldn't have a lot of purpose.
Well, laws and rules are there. Even going back to like when I was at Decatur Central, I taught a course called World and Ethnic Lit, and I taught it as a co-class to a World Civs class. So we looked at civilization growth through literature, and I taught the literature piece, and they would teach the actual civilization. If you go back to Mesopotamia, like the earliest print we have is the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is basically like the story of Noah and the Great Flood. But we start going through, you start seeing how, well, the Hebrews developed their society, then the Egyptians developed theirs. It's all very similar. And then when you get to the creation of the Bible, it outlines those rules and laws in it that they have, but they're the rules and laws at which they're set for a lot of cultures around there too. They just name them differently, they call them differently, they put them, but it goes all the way back to like the Epic of Gilgamesh and even into the story of Moses and others. And it's great, it's fascinating when you look at it from that angle. But like when you look at laws and rules, we have them in place as norms, as a way to kind of help society stay, on path. Because if you don't have it, well,
yes,
what does it do? And you could take, there's a philosopher to say, well, if you eliminate rules and people don't know right from wrong because they don't know what is wrong, they don't know what's right. But then if you flip the other side, well, then you're going to have people who do know it, and they're going to take it to the extreme. You know, which is it's fascinating when you think about like why are laws broken because they're there to be broken. And
Yeah.
people find them to be broken, but then it is what if it wasn't a law? Well, then would it be broken? No. Would people indulge themselves too much? Probably not. But who knows? I mean, it's a great quandary to think about, but at the same time, like it's one where you kind of like you start going down the rabbit hole a bit, like you could go pretty far.
Yes, certainly. Yeah. Wow. I feel like I haven't asked you any questions, but we've just been tangenting, which I love. That's good podcasting. That's great. It's fantastic.
No.
I want to bring it back to Hamlet though, because what I remember from your class specifically, because obviously, like I said, I was going through physical therapy a lot, so I didn't get everything. A lot of it was like Google Classroom stuff. But I remember not enjoying the Hamlet at all. But then
I didn't either.
but then it saved me with The Great Gatsby.
Yeah,
I love Gatsby.
Gatsby is such a cool story, and it's F. Scott Fitzgerald's background on it, and why he writes it, and how he writes it too. You know, it's funny. Like in my backyard, we have a retention pond back there, and on the other side of the retention pond,
I was gonna bring this up.
Some guy had a light over there. It was flickering or whatever, and my neighbor and I were on the back, and we're like, "Look, the green light!"
Yeah,
dude. So we held our hands like that, like we were laughing.
That's
like,
fun.
Gatsby,
Yeah.
Gatsby's also a story though that I have a hard time with because it is no question it's a great story, but people have tried to retell it in different ways, and it just doesn't work when you retell it. It's also one of those where people want to say, well, they connect with Nick. They connect with Nick's character because he's watching from afar, seeing this. But Nick is ultimately like, he's enamored with Jay Gatsby. He's like, I want to be that. I should be that. That's me. Like, but Jay Gatsby is such a flawed character throughout it, and
he's also a con artist in a way too.
very much so. He's a lot. Con artist is a great word for that. And the whole. He's in love with Daisy and his first love, and he's trying to steal her even though she's married, and it gets a little icky at points for me because it's like, well, I mean, it's a good story, it's a great story, it's a great story about like how far excess can take you and you can fall from it.
Yeah, certainly.
It's the they murder the guy by accident. They hit him with the car, and it's like, well, what do we do? And then they're trying to hide from it. They're trying. There's so many things. There's so many layers to it. But the hardest part is that it's F. Scott Fitzgerald saying he wants to be Gatsby, but he's really Nick. But at the same time, he imagines himself as Gatsby in it. It's just. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, because there's a lot of layers.
His wife was, she was enamored with him, and it was kind of like this. She was Daisy, in real, like that's how he viewed her as a Daisy, and it's like, well, I gotta always get her, and I don't know, the book never sat well with me, but at the same time, it's such a good book to read. It's an easy book to read, easy.
Well, I mean, I did use the audio book.
It's not hard. It's very short. It's very easy.
And like the pacing's good.
You don't have to be a brain surgeon to really understand what's going on. It is like that, industrial revolution of America. So things are growing. People live in excess. It's the Roaring 20s.
Which is it's 100 years ago when it takes place. It was written in the 20s, but it didn't get success till after he died, right?
It was his death kind of. Well, no, I think Gatsby it had gained some popularity within him, but I can't remember all the story to it.
Yeah.
But his real push, the real like elevation of him did happen after he died.
So now being appreciating his time, yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's every author. I feel like all the great ones, they're never appreciating their time. They're never understood their time. Then once they're gone, it's like, well, look at this. This was the genius of it. Oh my goodness.
And it was here the whole time too. Yeah.
Right. But also too think about like. That's more recent authors. Authors, I'm going to say prior to the invention of the radio, that was like movies. That was like entertainment. So like
that's true. Yeah.
You would go get a book and you would read the book and you would like that was it. So, the best example is like Sylvia Plath. She was an icon She was a poet. She was an icon. She was gorgeous. It
Was
like,
she in the Beat generation, like the 50s, or was that before?
50s, 60s.
Okay, because I remember I did a research project in my freshman year about that.
She's well known for how she died.
Right.
That's
yes.
what she's most well known for.
Yeah. Is your oven on?
My
Should
head's
be,
not in it right now.
Work should be fine. Yeah.
But she was an icon. She was huge,
Mm-hmm.
but she was a poet. No poet today is as big an icon as she was at the time. But at that time, movies were still kind of on the up. You know, they were still coming up. Radio was still, it was like, you know, authors still had a place as a part of, like, we are a part of the elite of entertainment culture. Now authors, even though they have a great niche of popularity, and they many of them do, they're not the level of like a Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
can't
that.
be, right.
But way back when, you know, a Walt Whitman, a Wordsworth, you know, Ezra Pound, you know, these are people who are like, just, they're icons of their era. Hemingway, Jules Verne is a massive icon because he's one of the first to delve into science fiction, and you know, people like just ate his stuff up, and he was an icon.
Is H.G. Wells in that group at all?
H.G. Wells.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you're
the
talking
machine, or the time machine.
the Time Machine. You know, War of the Worlds. You know, you have all sorts of great stuff, and I mean, you do have but some authors do see that kind of level of popularity, but I mean, not like it would have been then. You know, then it's like they are like, wow, that's like Tom Cruise level. That's whoa.
Yeah, I guess
Starstruck.
whatever media is currently in the lead is what. Yeah, that's how that's like Mr. Beast, because everyone's watching YouTube. You know, yeah. I'm sure you're aware of Mr. Beast.
I have a 9-year-old, of course. I'm
Yeah,
aware of
dude.
Mr. Beast. I mean, Dude Perfect, Mr. Beast, Ryan Trahan, the YouTube stars of tomorrow.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
It's,
and who knows what'll be next? But right now it is YouTube, and I'm clearly I'm a fan of podcasts. I have one, but like that's my favorite. A lot of comedians have podcasts. That's where all my attention goes to.
Right.
I remember being a kid though, whenever Mr. Beast wasn't as big, and he would just do like reaction videos and stuff, and I was like, oh, cool. And now it's unfathomably crazy famous. I think he got new teeth recently. I don't like that. I like his old smile.
I discovered like Dude Perfect in it would have been 2017, 2018. And I actually was a kid at school, had shown it to me, like some trick shot video. I was like, this is awesome. So
yeah, it is awesome. Yeah.
I brought him home. I was like, check this out. And I was showing, my oldest, who was young at the time, and he thought it was awesome. So we just obsessively watched them, and
they're so easy to binge. And
right. So we would watch them all the time, and that was like our relaxing. It's not bad. It's clean. It's good.
Yeah, it is clean. Yeah, I watched it at church camp. That's how clean it is.
So in 2019, they came to Indy. It was their first ever tour.
Oh yeah.
And so I bought tickets for the boys to go, and my youngest he was only maybe 3 at the time, and Oliver, my oldest, would have been 8. We went, and it was insane. They still talk about it to this day. They still remember going
that's awesome.
Where they sit. And
that is good dad aura right there.
We've seen them another time, and my wife went with us to the last concert that they had. And she goes, "This was like, did you guys win?" Like, no, this is, it's different. It's still crazy. It's nuts, but it's a little more tame. And
was it kind of felt more corporate maybe? Like
the first time felt very much just like a show. Like you were just watching.
Yeah.
It was the YouTube show live.
That's awesome.
Now this one is like, they have a much bigger budget, so they can do much bigger things and much cooler things.
Yeah,
so.
because I think they're like on their 3rd headquarters now. I remember I watched that video, but I mean I've been watching them since I was probably 10, because they've been making videos since 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So they still watch them, like they still catch them from time to time. It used to be like every Saturday 9 a.m. you wait. Oh, there it is. And we try to be the first ones to watch it.
That's fun. Yeah.
But I mean now we're so involved in like travel sports and everything else. We catch them when we catch them.
Right. But I think YouTube now is like the closest thing we have to TV shows. Like, because the podcasts come out like usually like once a week. It's when mine does. I come on Thursdays, and so I just like whenever I'm available, I just like tune in, because you don't get network stuff like that anymore. And I kind of wish I lived through that more, like at this age, to be like, oh, my Friends is on, I'm gonna go catch the new episode, or Seinfeld, whatever the sitcom is.
Let's go back even 10 years. Go to 2015. I remember having a conversation with a teacher. And I was sitting in class, and I was just like, how do you guys, like, I always relied on my students to introduce me to new musicians.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because there came a point where, like, you know, you have Spotify, but you kind of get kind of lost in your own, like, this is my stuff. You're
Right.
like,
Yes.
okay. And algorithms will put you into certain things. You know, MTV is not what MTV used to be.
Not
MTV,
at all.
they're not playing
It's
music.
just ridiculousness now, and Teen Mom, and
Right. And then you get to the radio, and you're listening to the radio, and it's the same probably 7 songs repeated every 2 hours with a lot of commercials. And you're like, now I had XM for a while, so I catch some things on XM, but even XM, you kind of gravitate towards the genre you like, and you stay there. So I always rely on it. And I remember, you know, asking students, give me some people to listen to, who do I want to listen to, and then I was like, how do you guys get your music? And they're like, well, we just get on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, but how do you do that? Like, that's not
Why?
That's not how
you.
I did that. Like, you just had the TV on, the radio on. It was just like, how are you guys discovering this stuff? And it was just wild because I still don't understand. Like, since I've been out of education, I've found some stuff. It's more like by going to concerts and here's the opening act. I like that opening act. Let me put them on my Spotify. Let me get them there.
I did that recently. I was at a concert in Columbus, Ohio in June. The band's called The Paradox. Have you seen those guys? Okay, like, at least aware of them. You know what I mean?
I'm aware of them. Yeah, I've not seen them.
I saw them right before they did Warped Tour, and I was like, these guys are. It was so loud, right? I went to go see a different band. The headliner was called Games We Play, and they've opened for Fall Out Boy and All Time Low and stuff. I saw them last year in September. I actually got on stage and got to play drums for a song.
Nice.
It was really, really. That was like the coolest thing I was able to do. Yeah, it was really cool. So I was like, I'm gonna go pay it forward, see them again. Really enjoyed the Paradox, and so like that's a way where I was like, oh, new band, hell yeah. And they have like 4 songs out at the time. They have like 5. It's only 5 singles or whatever. But like that's a great way because it's a lasting memory. You're like, oh, I saw these guys. Yeah. I was like, you know, from me to the end of the table is how close I was to the lead singer and stuff. It was awesome. Other than that, from my vantage point, it's like, you know, the band I went to go see, DMZ Play, I just saw one of their videos in like an ad before a different music video, whereas I think Vivo or Fueled by Ramen was like, you watch this, and I was like, oh, it has my attention, and it kept my retention rate, and I'm like, I always reward that. If I'm still to watch the whole thing, I'm like, okay, fan, you know, start following them.
This Sunday I'm going to go see Black Keys.
Okay, Black Keys.
Gary Clark Jr. is open for them, which I've seen him a couple times.
That's awesome. What a great show. What's the venue at? Is it
White River?
Okay.
So it's gonna be White River's gonna be really good, and then opening before them is gonna be the Heavy Heavy. I'd never heard of the Heavy Heavy, so I was like, well, let me go check them out. So I've been listening to them in my car rides. I'm like, okay, I actually kind of dig it. But that's how I'm discovering them. There was a band we went and saw. My wife and I went and saw Ryan Bingham live at the Vogue. I love Ryan Bingham. So most people today know Ryan Bingham as he's a guy who he's on Yellowstone. He's one of the farmhands on Yellowstone.
Cool.
I haven't watched Yellowstone. I apologize.
I'm aware of it, but
he's
also,
on there. But he was a country musician. He won an Oscar for singing "The Weary Kind" for Crazy Heart. He's really good. He was a kind of alt rock, alt country guy, and so. But long story short, we saw him and we were watching, like, let's watch the opener. There's a band called the Honey Honey Band. It was just a guy and a girl. Girl played the fiddle and sang, and then he played the drums while playing guitar. So he was using a double pedal, and the pedal would pedal a snare or the bass drum, and the other one would be pedaling out the cymbal, and then he's doing that, and she's playing the fiddle, she's playing the violin, and she's singing at the same time, and it was like, whoa.
It's just two people.
Just
right?
two people. So then we immediately went to the merch where they were at. Like, we want your album.
Yeah.
We want a shirt. Like, we're all in on you.
I think I don't think they'll ever be able to get rid of that. Is a way to get new people for good is the live show. Yeah. You have to have a good live show. Yeah. In order to like be at least have some stability and have a core fan. You have to get people's attention that way.
Yeah, we're pumped to go see it. Like like I said, we've not seen
Honey
Black
Honey
Keys. Now they broke up. They put out one album, and then they broke up, and now they're doing their own separate thing. But they were good, and then I'm excited to see Heavy Heavy. I want to see what they can do live. Gary Clark Jr. We know what he can do live. We've seen him a couple times, and he's incredible. This will be our first time seeing the Black Keys, so.
That sounds like an awesome show.
Oh, it's going to be a great show. We try to go to a couple concerts a year. I can't afford to go to all the concerts I want to go to.
Of course, yeah. Plus, you have you said travel baseball, and you're in a full grown adult with a family and stuff.
Baseball, softball, and everything else. So
I'm in a position where I have no family. I have my mom and my brother, and of course I live with. But like I have no, I'm single, so I just go and do stuff. It's
So
it's such a freedom that I promise I'm not taking for granted.
No, when I was I was 26 years old, I moved to Indianapolis. And when I got here, I was living in kind of like Southport Beach Grove area, and a buddy of mine I taught with at the time was like, "Hey, do you want to go to a concert tonight?" I was like, well, "Sure." I was like, "Oh, they're only like $5-10." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
So we used to go to Radio, and over in Fountain Square and go watch them. We go to the Hi-Fi and go watch shows, and that was like an every night thing. We would just go watch shows, and that's how we discovered Ryan Bing. And we saw him early in his career, very early. Like first album, he's hawking out of a van.
Yeah.
Reverend Peyton, we saw through that venue. And we saw a lot of duds. We saw a lot of people just trying to make it.
Right. But then, from my perspective, it's like, here's what not to do, because I'm trying to make it,
It's also, too, you're just going to watch music. And you're going there, you're having a drink, watching a show,
loyal
seeing how it
to
goes.
the venues. It's great.
And then, but we pay like $5-10 a night, get in, okay, here it is. Now, it's more expensive now, but at the same time back then, it was, hey, here's $5-10. Cool. $50 a week, you go see five.
Yeah, it's nice. And you can meet cool people in the audience or whatever. Make mutual friends or whatever.
They interact with you. When it's a small venue like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we thought the Vogue was like the venue. We didn't go to Deer Creek a lot because we did that in our early 20s. We went to the Warped Tours and X Fest.
Yes.
All that stuff. And I saw a ton of bands there. And even now I'm like, I could care less, go to Deer Creek, whatever.
Traffic, and just have some grass.
But like,
a liquid death that costs $9,000.
I think at White River we pay like what is it, $10 for a beer? It's more than that, probably 15 for a beer. But no, we'll do White River just because it's such a nice venue. It's just such a nice venue.
I've not been there yet, but
it's a great venue. We saw Jason Isbell there last year, which was a great show. Like I said, I saw Queens of Stone Age there last year.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that was probably one of the most like melt your face off shows I've ever been to. They were awesome. And then we actually went and saw Lord Huron about a month ago. We saw them play, and they dropped their new album the night of the concert.
That's cool. So, that's special for them. So they're gonna remember that show.
We literally were driving into it, listening to the new album on the way in.
Which is like it's hours old.
It's right there. It's hours old, and then we get there, and then we see it live.
That's awesome.
I bought the new album and I got it signed by them, so I have that. And I was like,
day of. That's really cool.
Here it is.
Because you can't replicate that now.
No, you can't. And it's you see them one day later. It's like, yeah, the new album came out yesterday. It was that day. It was like it dropped, and we were listening to it, and we get there, and then here it is. And it was actually a really cool prop they did on their stage. They had like different pieces of previous tours.
Okay,
on the stage.
That's cool.
And so as they're playing, you'd have those pieces like more illuminated. But one of the things they had on there, they had a phone booth, like an old phone booth on there.
Okay, cool.
And there was a point in the song where he would go up to the phone booth and grab the phone off the hook, and he turned into a microphone. And then it had a camera in the phone booth, so the television screen would project his face there as he's talking
really
on the
sick.
phone. And he's singing in the phone. And even my wife was like, I didn't know how to feel about this concert going in, but that was cool. That was such a brilliant idea.
And also, that's so memorable. I never even heard of that before. Damn, I wish I had thought of that.
That's a brilliant idea.
That's really cool. Because now I'm thinking of Glenn Ross because of the phone booth scene. Yeah, but yeah, that's really cool.
He just picks up the phone and then he starts singing into it. You're like, oh, that's.
And did it just look like it's like a prop until he did that too?
You knew it was a prop, and you knew it had to do something with what they were doing, but you didn't know. And once he picked it up in the first song and started singing into it, you're like, that's one. Anytime he started like making his way there, you knew.
Yeah, really. Yeah, everyone just amped for it. That's awesome.
But it was a great show. But yeah, we try to get to 2 or 3 concerts a year. I still got I bought tickets super cheap for Franz Ferdinand at the Vogue.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen them probably since 2002 maybe.
Oh wow, dude.
2003. No, probably 2003, 2004. I haven't seen them since that far back, and so. It'll be wild to see them now. I mean, obviously it's a different lineup of a band, but
right.
You're just like, okay.
They're a whole different cluster of cells, probably.
It was the tickets were like $15. It's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, right.
Sure. I think my neighbor's gonna go with me, so we're gonna.
That's fun. Yeah.
Let's go.
I think the closest I've ever been to doing like a a day of show So my favorite band is always for the past 8 years, or I think, it's been 21 Pilots.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Yeah.
just I mean I've dove into their show so much over like it's to the point where I'm like I should be watching other bands on YouTube, and I just they have such all the visuals in there, and another 2-piece band, right? But they had an album drop in October. It was like October 5th, 2018. I saw them October 16th, 2018. So 11 days later, so over fall break of my 8th grade year, and they had not played a show since the album dropped. So I think there was 5 or 6 songs that had never been played before that I got to watch. It was at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, and it was really, really cool, right? And so if you've never been, I guess you don't. They're only going on tour this fall, and then they don't have any more dates for the foreseeable future, but because they're all starting their families soon and stuff.
So I'll give you one. You're gonna trip on this. The people love this story. So growing up in Bloomington, Little 500 is everything.
Right.
The Little 5 weekends, everything. They used to, for the longest time, they still do it now. They have the Little 5 concert. The Little 5 concert was, that was like the concert. Mellencamp played it a bunch of times. They always would try to bring in an act for it. So 1995, I'm a freshman in high school. Okay. Little 5 concerts coming in. Okay. The headliner was a brand new band that had just dropped a new album that was kind of racing up the charts a bit. It was a band called Bush.
Oh, wow.
So we're all pumped to go see Bush. The 2 opening bands, there was one that was kind of doing the same thing. It was racing up the charts a little bit, and they were people knew of them, but it was like no one really knew of them. But they were like, oh, I think I've heard them. I think I haven't. It's a band called the Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh my God.
And then the opener to them was a small California band that was, just had broken. Like their first single was just breaking at that point, or off their big album. And it was a band called No Doubt.
Oh my God, dude. And what a lineup.
On that tour is the tour that Gavin Rossdale from Bush and Gwen Stefani from No Doubt fell in love with each other, and they got married eventually and everything. And so a lot of kids from we were from high school and even college, we got tickets to it, and we went and saw Bush, Goo Goo Dolls, and No Doubt.
Dude.
at IU, and
that's crazy.
But it was like you're sitting there and literally like we go see No Doubt, and then probably like maybe a few weeks later, I'm Just a Girl just hits the radio, and it's like, oh, we just saw them. That's cool. And now you look back and say, Gwen Stefani's probably one of the top artists in the world.
Right.
Bush had their time in the 90s where they were like one of the top bands.
I love the Goo Goo Dolls.
And Goo Goo Dolls have just been there and around. I mean, if you listen to 92.3, you hear the Goo Goo Dolls at least once every 30 minutes. But yeah, no, we saw them, and
damn, dude.
We saw the Smashing Pumpkins the next year at Assembly Hall. That was awesome. I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers at a Little 5 concert.
So this is like late 90s?
This is, mid to late 90s.
Wow, so is it probably before Californication?
I think it was the Californication tour is what it was.
Oh my God.
So it was, I think it was Californication. That was that one. So you have that. I mean, we always try to get tickets for those concerts. The one of the worst concerts I've ever been to was a Little 5 concert. Was Nelly.
Oh, you saw Nelly?
It was terrible. It was a terrible show.
Tough.
And sorry Nelly if it offends you, but
it's alright. I don't think he's one of the 14 people listening to this right now. We should be okay.
If Nelly gets the sorry, their concert in Bloomington, Indiana, back in the early 2000s was not good.
Oh wow!
Don't give Murphy Lee that much time on stage.
What was the biggest problem? Just like was the sound bad? Was he just couldn't hear him, or?
At that time in music, especially hip hop, they were all groups. It wasn't like they were groups, but like one guy would get big, and they would bring their group.
Okay, so entourage.
They would try. Yeah, they would try to get the group. So like Eminem had D12.
Right.
So you always had D12 was around with them. He always make sure D12 got their time.
My band.
Master P had Cash Money Millionaires. So they had all those guys there, and then you had Nelly had the Saint Lunatics.
Okay.
So I mean, I remember Murphy Lee. I remember him being big in that. So like, it was like there were each of those guys got got good time, and then here comes out Nelly, and he sang like he probably did I think it was 4 or 5 songs, but like he didn't do the whole song. He'd do like maybe like a minute of the song, and then the music would switch to the next one. He'd do like a minute and a half of that song, and switch to the next one.
So like a medley.
It was like a medley mixtape, and then he was like, "Oh, thank you, Bloomington, good night." Like you're trying to encore him back, and a buddy of mine sitting behind me was like, He goes, "Why you encore him? He played every song." I'm like, that's a good point.
Damn, dude.
Wow. And then like we're encore, and then the lights come up, and it's like, all right, great show. We're like,
Adios, dude.
like it was the worst show ever. What is this?
Wow,
I feel
dude.
robbed.
That does suck.
But you'd think like, I mean, it was like, there's a friend of mine I talked to from high school who was at that show too, and she even said, she's like, yeah, absolutely the worst show I've ever been to in my entire life. Like,
Well, to just play like, what, that couldn't have been more than 8 minutes, 7 or 8, maybe 10, 15.
maybe 10, maybe 15. It wasn't long.
It's not that's most opening acts play longer than that. That sucks.
Most of the guys that were on his entourage played more than that. So it was, but that was kind of the thing of that early 2000s was like everyone had their own like group of like, it was kind of like, I call it the Wu-Tang effect.
Okay.
Wu-Tang is, considered to be the greatest rap group of all time because individually and stylistically they're all amazing artists.
So did they all do like their own individual stuff? Because
Right.
I'm so hip hop illiterate.
Well,
I just never.
You have like ODB, Method Man, RZA. You've got Ghostface Killah. You've got all these guys within the Wu-Tang Clan that are individually so amazing, and then they come together and work together, and it's so perfect.
Yeah.
So when Wu-Tang goes on the road, you get the Wu-Tang Clan, but you also get them individually too.
That's awesome.
So
okay.
I think that's kind of the model that they were going for because Wu-Tang had, I think they had maybe their second album out at that time, but everyone was like, well, that's what we're gonna do. I've got my group, because if you're with a group of 10 guys, one hits it big, the other 9 of you are going with him. So he's gonna one of them's gonna elevate
and you
us.
severely increase your odds too.
Right. So like, I mean, it wasn't uncommon. Like Kid Rock, he got real big in '98, and
Bob with the ball,
yeah,
the bang-a-ding, digga-digga-dee.
he brings out Uncle Cracker, who's DJ, but here's Uncle Cracker having a huge career off of it. I mean, it's like
He just get put in front of people.
that's what it is. I mean, House of Pain, of Pain for the '90s. Jump Around. Well, Everlast has his own solo career. It's like a rocky bluesy career that he does, and then the DJ ends up being the DJ for Limp Bizkit. So they end up through individually their career. That one song catapults their individual careers for, in this case, for Limp Bizkit and for his own solo act, elevates them. So that was kind of like the method to it. Like, well, one of us is going to be big, and then we'll take the rest of us with us.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And one of them would always have like all right, yeah, I heard that song on the radio. All right, but then it never went from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was kind of the thing. I mean, everyone had their group, their I guess their entourage.
Yeah, I guess I know people really, really love hip hop so much, and I think it's like, is it just like, like a lot of the production gets a lot of insight, but like I think it's just the words themselves. People just like kind of dive into that because I just never, I was like,
yeah, I mean,
I just never attached myself to it. I guess
So-
I've tried. Actually, I have tried, but
one of my favorite bands, I make it no secret, is the Beastie Boys. When License to Ill comes out, I'm 6, 7 years old.
oh yeah, dude.
And I mean, when you're watching MTV, you see "Fight for Your Right to Party," and I'm 7 years old. Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna fight for my right to party. I'm gonna stay up till 10 p.m. to watch me rip it up.
No sleep till Bloomington.
Right, exactly. But like, when we were in high school, we used to, cruising was still a thing. You drive around Bloomington, and my buddy had an Oldsmobile Cutlass, and he put huge speakers and subwoofers in the back of that Cutlass.
Is it like now where it's just bass and bass and then?
It was obnoxiously loud.
Okay, great.
So we're going up and down. We go up and down Kirkwood,
Uh-huh.
and all we played on a cassette was my License to Ill cassette, and we would play, Brass Monkey.
Yeah. Girls.
Girls.
Yeah, that album my mom introduced it to me when I was like 11, I think, and so like I would just I'd jam that, John Mellencamp on the bus, AC/DC's Back in Black, Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses, just like over and over again, all of those. So
it was always like for me, Beastie Boys were everything. So like I always tried to mimic them. I always tried to, I knew all their songs backwards and forwards. I have all their albums. I have all their albums on CD. I have all their albums on vinyl. It's, I was a big Beastie Boys fan, still am. But it's, that was, it's funny to watch as I watched them evolve as artists.
Mm-hmm.
My style of music I enjoyed evolved as
Yeah.
well, and even they introduced me, like, I mean, they were really big about, they would collab with Tribe Called Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at Q-Tip and Tribe Called Quest, and you would be listening to them, and then well, I like Tribe. Tribe's good. Well, Tribe also listens to, they collab with De La Soul. Oh,
Mhm.
I like De La Soul.
Yeah, it's all daisy chain. It's awesome. Yeah.
De La Soul then collab with the rest of Development. I'm like, oh, I want to listen to them.
Mhm.
A little Tennessee, and then it's like, well, where's it? It just keeps following the chain. So going back to that conversation earlier, where you kind of go backwards in time,
Right.
you're also following them forward in time
Mhm.
too. Like,
True. Yeah.
where's your love for it? And then
Yeah, it's fun.
you have that kind of, like, it molds so much more, and then it kind of just, you have such a wide globe
Mhm.
of genres you're kind of into, and sometimes they cross genres where you're like, oh, where's this coming from, and it kind of takes you down a different road. I think in the 90s you saw like a lot of techno was big.
Yeah.
A
Mhm.
lot of techno was big, and with the techno you kind of, all right, it kind of synced over to some other things and all that, but you also saw some interesting things too. Like, I'll never forget, like MC Hammer was one of the biggest
Oh
rappers
yeah, dude.
ever, and then when it was like hardcore rap, like East Coast, West Coast,
Mhm.
he came out with a hardcore rap album,
Oh.
and it was
wow.
like,
Again, they said the '90s dark.
oh man, and like Hammer Don't Hurt Me, and it was like really, it was Hammer hard, like,
Uh-huh.
ooh. He dropped the MC, he was like Hammer. I was like,
Oh.
And then there was Vanilla Ice had his little thing, and then
Yeah.
like in the late '90s he put out a metal alt album
Did not know that.
under his, I think it was under Rob Van Winkle, his real name,
Mhm.
and it had a version of Ice Ice Baby that was called Too Cold, and it was like metal.
Oh, I didn't even know about this.
Oh, it is insanely.
Wow.
I bought the album just to have that
Uh-huh.
stupid song, and I remember in college like jamming it, because all these there was all these guys looking at my floor that were into Korn and Kid
Yeah.
Rock and
Mhm.
Biscuit and everything, and I remember like Pantera, and they were like, yeah, I was like,
Right.
hey, check this out, and I threw it on there. It's like, man, this is so edgy. They would get so into it,
Yeah.
and they hear him like scream like, stop collaborating. Is this Vanilla Ice? Like,
Yeah.
it is.
Yes, it is.
So I was like, geez.
That's fun to kind of cover your own song like that. That's, mhm.
I mean, everyone, it's just comical to see it evolve sometimes. But then you see some evolutions that are super cool, like Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots. He did a
Okay, I
solo
love
album.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Right, he did a solo album called 12 Bar Blues, and it's very Bowie-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone kind of thought he had this Bowie kind of style to him, but to do like a Bowie-esque album, and it's really good.
Mhm.
It's really good. I mean, it was one of those, like, if you, like, it didn't catch a lot of people, but it did catch some.
Mhm.
And I think it's, while from a rock perspective, STP stuff, like Purple Album is just incredible front
Mhm.
to back. God, front to back is amazing. 12 Bar Blues is probably artistically one of the best albums that he did, solo or
Mhm.
with STP.
Yeah, Interstate Love Song is like one. That's off. Is that off Purple?
That's Purple.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think the one I downloaded is off of like their album Thank You. It's almost like a where I guess it's like I don't know
That's
what
a
the
greatest hits album.
Yeah.
kind
It's
of thing,
okay.
yeah.
Cool. Well, because I know Plush is on that, and then
Yeah,
there's
Plush was on Core. That was the Core album.
okay. Well, that was in Core. Okay, great. Because I know Crackerman's certainly on Core.
Yeah,
And then Dead and Bloated.
yeah.
We covered 2 Stone Temple Pilots songs in my Muncie band a couple months ago.
The Core album was a cool album because I getting older, and you're gonna feel this, and you probably do feel it, is like you remember exactly where you were when you heard things.
Yeah,
When you see
certainly.
things, you're gonna
I'm
say,
starting to feel that now, where it's like, because like albums that I remember, I can, because I'm the dates themselves, but also like the feeling you
Yeah.
were, like how old you were, when, like
Mhm.
what stage of your life you were, like
I
what.
was in Dave Bush's basement, and his sisters were there, and there was like we were in middle school. His sisters were in high school, and they had their friends over, and we were just
Uh-huh.
kind of like hanging out. And I thought it was like hanging with the coolest kids on earth.
Yeah.
These high school kids,
Oh yeah, that's
And,
fun.
David Bush, they're like, yeah, we got the Core album. I was like, what's that? It's like, oh, it's this band called Stone Temple Pilots. Play it up.
But right.
And then I was like, yeah, I know that song, but I only knew like Plush. It's all they played on the radio. It's all they played on MTV. So it's like,
Yeah,
well,
but it's so heavy. It's so fun to drum
but
too.
to hear the whole album, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Like, I saw on
And I think
well, I saw on Facebook you're doing a lot of Blue Album from Weezer.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Yeah. This won't come out till next week. But yeah, right now, 2 more this week.
yeah.
I'm excited.
So I saw that and I was like, I remember where I was when I heard the Blue Album.
They came out what month did it come? Because you would have been in 7th or 8th grade, right?
Ooh, I think it was in 8th grade. But I remember like Buddy Holly. Like I remember when that hit, because Happy Days was like a show that everyone of my generation knew of. We saw, but you didn't see it like.
And that's where Fonzie's from, right? And,
we
okay, yeah.
We never saw it live, but it was that show that was on reruns at the time that everyone caught, and everyone watched it, whether they said they did or didn't. Like, you know,
So it became almost like Friends for us. Where that show before I was born,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but it was a huge deal.
But it was, I mean, you watch it. So when they did that, it was like everyone kind of sat back, like, yeah, I know that. You didn't want to admit you knew it, but you knew it.
Yeah.
And you knew the whole shtick of it.
Or like Full House or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was such a cool. Like, Spike Jonze did such an amazing job directing that video and like the special effects of that video.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it because like I remember when I was doing the cover, I was like, "Isn't this like a?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it is the Happy Days," and I was like,
Happy Days.
"Yeah." And it's almost like a deep fake now of how well that thing they blend in and everything.
I mean, the double for Fonz is pretty obvious. I mean, everyone knows it.
Yeah.
But just like, Rivers Cuomo looked like Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
He did. He looked like him. And, it was kind of this cool. It was cool rock. It was nerdy rock, and it was kind of like, well, where is it in the middle of it? And then,
but at the end of the day, it just felt new and kind of fresh too. I imagine, like it just, or like somebody almost like people who didn't have a genre, now they do.
It was a weird kind of thing for them because like they were really popular through Buddy Holly, and then My Name Is Jonas and Sweater Song and they
Say It Ain't So.
Yeah, it was like that was there too. But it never hit the level that did. And then it was like they kind of fell off. And as they fell off, it wasn't like a big fall off or anything, but like the next album, you saw the slow, gradual re-rise of them.
Which I think is cool. They kind of almost get it back.
Right. And it wasn't until like probably the late 90s, early 2000s with Green Album. That's really where like they re-reached that apex, but just watching them come back to that.
That's cool. Because the second album was called Pinkerton, right? Because it was almost like a rebellion for getting too famous too quick. Because Rivers Cuomo just, I think I watched a video about it like 3 years ago or something. But he just kind of was like, I want to do my own thing.
Well, yeah, he went to Harvard. He went to school.
Oh, I went to Harvard. It's crazy.
He went to school. He went. I thought it was Harvard. He went. It was Ivy League. He went Ivy League for sure. I'm
not saying it wrong. I just crazy to hear.
But he went there and like he kind of just broke away for a little bit, and then he came back to it and. There's that time frame where it's kind of like this missing time with them, but once they come back, I mean, they're huge again, and it's like, oh, and then they never fall off from there. They always just stay there. And I think it's that sound. Sometimes it takes a band a little bit of time to evolve their sound. Like they may be big to start, but they got to come back later just to evolve it a little bit.
I think getting that big quickly is a blessing and a curse because like you don't know how to navigate. And
No.
You're just kind of signing stuff, I imagine, just like, oh, I guess I'll do whatever we got to do to play, and it just sounds scary. Like,
it's the one-hit wonder.
I
mean, the 60s.
That's the end of Gata Davida type stuff.
Yeah, the 60s and the 80s and even the 70s for the most part. I mean, it is cluttered with one-hit wonders. I mean, take, for example, the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees are known for disco. They're disco kings. They're the, you can't say disco, you can't say the 70s without the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees have a whole collection of music that is not disco that leads up to that. That is like high quality music.
That.
Oh god, my father was a big Bee Gees fan, but not of the disco stuff. He liked the disco stuff. He loved Saturday Night Fever. He thought that whole genre. He was like he wanted to be that guy. Everyone wanted to be him. John Travolta and that. Which John Travolta is what he is, but also the star of my all-time favorite movie, Pulp Fiction.
Okay, great. We could talk about that soon because all right.
But
now we're cooking there, John.
But yeah, I mean, they were a Brit, they were Australian, but they were huge in Britain. They were a massive Brit pop band, and they had a lot of great music. And then here comes the disco wave, so they were like, well, we got this movie Saturday Night Fever. Will you make a song for it? Sure. So they make the disco album for it,
and that just sticks,
and that's what they're known forever. And then it's this anti-Bee Gees, we hate the Bee Gees, oh, the Bee Gees are terrible. The Bee Gees were amazing musicians, but they're always tied to staying alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude.
They're always tied to that soundtrack of Saturday Night
Whether
Fever.
you're a brother or a mother,
Oh, you
you're
know.
staying alive. And then like the Office thing where it's like, you know, they're doing the CPR and then like Dwight puts the mask on his face. And that is a pretty, you know, it's a good tip, you know, like, you know, just, you know, the 100 BPM, it's good.
I've seen other people do it with like other songs, and I just laugh every time when people do it. It's like, you know, the Stay Alive one, like, okay. First I was afraid.
Just something completely off tip.
Oh
It's
my
fun.
goodness, it's so funny. But yeah.
Just break a rib.
Yeah. So big Pulp Fiction fan for you?
Oh yeah. So that came out in '94.
94.
Which were you a freshman or in 8th grade?
I was going into my freshman year.
Okay, because I watched it when I was going into my freshman year. So because I watched it in 2019, right? But my mom saw it in theaters because she was basically my age when the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so she saw it with my aunt Ginger, her sister, and then my parents had just got together on this point, and my mom was like, Randall, you have to go and watch it. You're gonna love it. So then she went back and watched it twice, and you know, so I always heard about it growing up, and she'd always, you know, quote stuff like Honey Bun, whatever it was, you know.
Honey Bunny.
Yeah, Honey Bun. My bad. Yeah. Yeah, I always say I insulting myself when I forget syllables, but I've seen the movie. I promise. Actually, at the story I told, did you hear about Mr. Smith's episode where I did Ezekiel 25:17 as a speech?
Ezekiel 25:17, the path of the righteous. I used to know that by heart. But also too, it's funny is that soundtrack, that was a track on the soundtrack.
Oh, believe me.
So if you were listening to the soundtrack, you listen to that,
and you hear it 3 times in the movie.
Right.
You hear
you couldn't help it. Like that's what it was.
In the cadence he does, it just is a perfect delivery too.
I'll give you a really funny story. So this is probably, I hadn't quite come to Barnesville yet. It was probably sometime between 2015 and 2019.
Okay.
I was obsessed with the idea of that I wanted the wallet. I wanted
it's in my car.
the wallet. I wanted it. I wanted that wallet. So my oldest son, Oliver, he's probably 6 or 7 at the time. He had to have been kindergarten or first grade. Maybe, for kindergarten or first grade. So at his school, they do the Santa shop, where like you can go and buy stuff for your parents and everything.
Okay.
So the funny story is like we gave him like $15 and told him to buy it, and he bought $15 worth of crap for himself. And we're like, this is not how it works. So we gave him $15 more, and we had specific instructions like you have to buy. So he's like, Dad, what do you want? I go, buddy, I want a wallet. I go, but my wallet's got a special message, and I need you to ask Mom to give me that wallet with a special message. And he goes, okay. So we get to Christmas Day, and he's like, I got this for you. I'm like, okay. And I open it up, and it's a tin wallet. I'm like, here we go. And I open it up, and the wallet says #1 Dad on it. He goes, see, it has a special message, right? Yeah, just like you said. I was like, you know what, buddy? It's the exact same message. It's just worded differently.
That's right.
All. It's just worded differently. So I had that #1 Dad wallet for years. It was damn near a decade.
It was July 11th, 2020. I was the day before I turned 15, and I had a pocket knife and my wallet, and I was watching the movie, and I scratched it into the leather. It's still on my. It's on the inside, but it's not on the outside. Because I was like, I don't know, I want my grandparents to see that and be like, what's this? I'm like, well, haven't you seen them? You know.
So okay, I mean, Pulp is my favorite one. But what's Tarantino's best film? This is always, I love the debate of this.
I was commenting on a Instagram post about this.
He's got nine
Yeah,
films.
he has 9 films.
Not what's your favorite?
Right.
What's the best one?
It's tied between
It's tough.
Inglourious Bastards or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay, yeah. Those 2 are huge. I think Bastards is the best one.
I think so, because you know it's the scene in the basement for me. You know, it's so good.
Not even that. The first 10 minutes of the film.
Oh yeah, the suspension. Yeah. Oh my God.
Minutes,
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen, and I still cringe on the couch of like it's crippling.
Yeah. And the Shia LaBeouf guy who like you see him slowly deteriorate in his face.
Right.
It's a very good performance from him.
Well,
very little dialogue too.
Even there, and then you get to the where they bring out the bear.
Yes, which was going to be Adam Sandler. You know that,
I
right?
heard that.
Yeah,
I knew that, and it was, you know, yeah. I think Bastards is the best one he's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's got to be Pulp. And I only say that I said Pulp because it transformed how movies are made. Like before then, no one did the the in the first where the first in the car talking about the burger in the front, you know, the French Royale with cheese. It's a camera, and they're just going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't see that in films before then, but after that, you see it all the time.
I guess it's the first. We just felt like you were there with them.
Right.
I think that's why podcasts are so popular. You just feel like you're listening to a conversation.
Cool.
You know.
And it was one of those where I didn't realize it until someone pointed that out to me, and I was like, "That's exactly right. Like it's incredible." Like I think Pulp. I mean, the influence on what it did for film going forward was it's immeasurable.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yes, his best film he ever did is probably Bastards, Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
You know, front to back, where it is, the suspense, the tension, everything he does with it.
And that's not to insult Django, The Hateful Eight, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No.
Those are all great, but Inglourious Bastards is just like To Kill Hitler is just it's insane. You know, that's a crazy thing to write on a paper, you know, and then to pull it off like that in a grand way.
Django is probably the most fun. That's
probably
the most fun one I love watching, because when I watch it, it's like I'm not watching it for the artisticness. I'm not watching it for the pure enjoyment. Like Pulp is fun. Don't get me wrong, but Pulp's fun because it strikes so many taboos. It strikes so many things.
Yeah, a guy's dick flies off, and there's like all kinds of
Or I love the where Eric Stoltz is sitting there in his robe trying to go through the different levels. Like that's Choco from the hearts of Switzerland, the heart mountains.
And I love that. That scene's great because when some movies do this, where you can see Vincent's face in the smallest mirror, like in the corner. I'm like, I love that. They had to set that up that way.
It's cool, but like at the same time, like you
twist sticks. They twist from the kitchen.
Django is so fun.
I've not seen it since I had Mono. I watched it when I had Mono 4 years ago.
It's fun because Jamie Foxx is fun and he's good in it. He's fun. Christoph Waltz is fun in it. Even DiCaprio, like just some of the stupid things, like when he turns like you what? Oh, and his really terrible southern voice. Walton Goggins is awesome in that.
Yeah, I see. Walton Goggins is a guy I'm aware of now. I need to go back and rewatch that.
And then,
really bad.
The first plantation owner is what's his name from Miami Vice? Oh, I'm spaced his name. Tubbs. No, Tubbs Crockett. Gosh.
It's been too long. I was sick when I watched it too.
It's such a fun. It's gross and everything, but it has a funness to it. It has a kind of a ride. It's like you're on a ride through it. Kerry Washington's in it. She's the heroine in it. Sam Jackson's.
Yeah, I know.
But, once upon a time I saw that, and I remember thinking like, wow, this is good. This is real good.
Also seeing Brad Pitt, in the same, that's.
Well, they're doing the sequel.
Yeah, in David Fincher's
doing the TV sequel with
which I love Fight Club too. Like just like the film bro movies, but like they're revered for a reason. And I watched them at a very pivotal point, like you said, 11 through 14, when your music is kind of where you get dialed in. I watched Fight Club and Pulp Fiction on repeat during that time as well. So
Fight Club is it's a movie you look.
It's Frankenstein.
Well.
Which obviously that's a good comparison, but I'll just never not think of those together now.
It's a movie where you look at like Fight Club is a movie where in today's society it's such a tough movie to watch because it is really driving into some things that are pretty hard.
There's hyper masculinity, and that's
from the terrorism side of it.
Right. Yes. Because it was pre 9/11. I forgot it was pre 9/11.
The cult aspect of it.
That's true.
And then you get into
the mental health stuff too.
Mental health stuff. It is a very, very tough movie to watch in 2025.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah. I was look at it as like a way to get to the 90s, which I was never. I always feel like I missed out.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's so. Like it was so groundbreaking time. Like the idea, like whoa, this is nuts. I remember I bought the Fight Club DVD and I immediately watched it all the way through. Then I rewatched it again with Fincher's commentary.
Yes.
And it was kind of mind blowing because I think it was Fincher and Norton that were on it, and Norton is notoriously known as a guy who wants more control in a movie than what he.
Yeah, I heard he's kind of a dick, but he's a great actor. I love him.
Norton, we love you though. We're not calling you dick.
No, it's
stuff.
John's like on you, dick.
25th hour. One of your best films, Spike Lee joke. I know.
You ever seen Birdman?
Mhm.
He's great at Birdman. I love
Yeah.
Birdman.
It's
The commentary you're saying?
yeah, it's so it kind of unravels a little bit. I mean, it is based on the book. The book is, I've read the book before.
I listened to the audio book right when I got my new job. So
it again, it's a tough sell today. Like I really find it fascinating. Like, I mean, I graduated high school in 1998. 1999, American Pie comes out.
oh yeah,
American
dude.
Pie is like my generation's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
We've been waiting for that film
Mm-hmm.
to come out, and I'm sitting there going like, okay, what would it be for this generation? I mean, there was Project X. What was that, 10, 12 years ago or whatever, maybe longer.
Oh
than that,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like,
That's true. Yeah.
define like that kind of comedy, that movie. I don't know that it could be made today without it having such a huge backlash. That
Yeah,
people,
like repercussions and stuff.
people
yeah.
would not see it. I want to believe that.
I guess for me, Superbad is that for me, but that wasn't my generation though.
No,
That came out
Superbad
before.
is that.
Mhm.
Superbad is like, it's kind of like that next generation. Like, the problem was that like, you have Fast Times at Ridgemont High that comes out in like 80 or 81, somewhere in there.
I think 82.
Early 80s. I think it was somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
But then
I want to say 86. But it might
there's
be too
other
late.
like high school like comedy, like there's Ferris
Yeah,
Bueller's
Ferris
Day
Bueller's.
Off. You've got other things that come through there, but like
Love Ferris.
there wasn't anything quite
Days of Confused.
Days of Confused is a great one, fantastic one. But there wasn't anything quite like that matched it until American Pie, because the one thing that made Fast Times so memorable is that like it was a high school experience, and you had people who were sex crazed.
Yeah.
Sex crazed high schoolers. Okay, well, yeah, Ferris Bueller's fun, but he's cool.
Yeah.
He's not. That's not him.
Yeah, he does
And-
lip syncing on the Chicago
Right.
Parade. Yeah.
In Dazed, it's fun. It's the transition of 8th grade to high school. What is that like? Where could that be? And, you got brought into the cool kids circle.
Yeah.
I guess there was a guy I grew up with named Mike. Mike was 4 years older than me. We went to church together, and our parents were really good friends. But Mike was 4 or 5 years older.
So that's like an older brother kind of a guy.
Yeah, you definitely had that feeling. And with Mike, like anytime I got to hang out with Mike, it was awesome. I was in middle school hanging out with Mike. I was with all the high school kids. I was with all of them, and so it had that like dazed feel to it. Like, yeah, this is
You're
wow.
cool, man.
You're cool.
Like how?
You're not cool.
Yeah.
The Ben Affleck paddle.
Oh yeah, dude.
Which is
Because I watched it like a month ago, and then I also watched The Accountant 2 in theaters with my mom, and to see him go from that, I'm like, oh, I forgot. I also watched The Good Will Hunting recently as well. I'm just like,
man.
oh, so young, just. Then he's Batman too.
Affleck. He's taken some turns there. for a
Yeah,
minute.
certainly.
I like
Dunkin' Donuts.
he's the Boston guy. But I mean, like, you just kind of you see that, you have that evolution. There's you can't make those movies right now. Like,
That's true.
you could do it, but it's just not going to have the same.
I think
stick.
the way it would happen now is have to be like the way Project X feels, but with like an actual budget, like what that probably would be, where it's like it feels like it was made by student film makers. I think that could totally happen too.
Project X did it right. They did it like a guerrilla film.
Yeah,
They guerrilla filmed it, and you have that vibe to it. It feels very real. I think that's what
Except for Miles Teller for just being there for no reason.
I forgot about that.
That's Miles Teller. It's like,
and he plays Miles
yeah,
Teller.
I know, it's so funny.
But he's like a jock returning back home, Miles Teller. But they don't really kind of call him the actor Miles Teller. He's just Miles Teller, a dude. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of
that's really funny. Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of that movie.
It's right up there with the movie This Is the End.
Oh, I love This Is the End. I watched the commentary on that too.
But it's only can be rivaled with Michael Cera, and This Is the End.
Of course, Rihanna slaps the hell out of him.
Which I guess, so the story goes with that is that they had to do multiple takes of it, and I guess he whispered things in Rihanna's ear to piss her off, and that she slapped him so hard each time that he lost his hearing for a good chunk of time, and like he actually had to be taken to a doctor because he was like he had lost his equilibrium. So like, I guess the joke was that he said he would do This Is the End, but I'll be Michael Cera, but I'm gonna be what people would never expect Michael Cera to be.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so he was like, he was like, I'm gonna be like some coked out, womanizing, like like it's gonna be super out there. And so they're like, whatever. And
did he do that?
And they said the first take, like Brianna like half slapped me, and he's like, nah. He goes, Megan, and he slapped her ass so hard, and she went back and cocked him. And they did that scene probably like 4 or 5 times until his ear started bleeding and he couldn't hear. And so it was a thing. But like, yeah, it's no, so it's those comedies. Like, I mean, right now the Naked Gun remake is supposed to be super funny.
I need to watch. I want to watch the first one first because I'm only aware of the first one because the second one's coming out. It just I think it was. I don't know. Is that in the 80s? And who is the?
So Leslie Nielsen.
Okay.
I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I did not get 3/4. I probably didn't get half the jokes at the time.
Yeah.
Now as an adult, I get them. I'm like, but like my boys, I showed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Whatever. I was 10 when I first saw it. My middle one's 9. All right, fine. Watch it. You shouldn't be watching this, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But the gags in it, I knew they would love.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but like. Naked Gun was just so I loved it. It was so funny. I seen Naked Gun 2.5, and 33 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
They progressively get worse, but like you're still like, okay, here it is. Like, but then you deal with the whole like O.J. Simpson's like a major character there.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's not like a side character, which he is. He's a major side character. So I was like, well, all right, but. I've had friends go and see it, and they loved it, and they're like, "You need to go see it."
I've heard like comedians that I follow on Facebook that like have or like the Indianapolis like kind of scene. They're like, "It hits. You got to go watch it." And I'm like, man, I don't want to spoil stuff from the first one, but then also it just feels. I feel like maybe we should wait for them to both be out for a while, and then I'll go back and deep dive. Where it's like, cause I don't want to like cram all of a sudden. Because I want to have time with the first one, and then maybe watch the new one.
And my only issue with going to theater to see is that the money.
Yeah.
Too much.
If you go, my mom and I just saw Weapons last night at the AMC 12.
See that.
So I didn't know anything about the movie. I had no
amazing things.
I didn't know anything about the movie. I loved it. That's all I want to say. But I will say, if you become a Stubbs member on Tuesdays and now Wednesdays as well, tickets are 50% off.
See,
so
yeah, we went and saw Superman. That was the last movie we saw. And my middle son, my son, he was ever since he was born, he's been obsessed with Superman.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
We had a Superman
out.
birthday party for him. I bought him like Superman toys. The original Superman had it was an anniversary edition they put out on 4K or whatever. So I bought that, and he just thought it was cool because he thought he got the movie. You know? But I love that Superman. I love that Superman so much. I say it's probably the greatest superhero film of all time because it's the blueprint of how every superhero film
is that Christopher Reeves?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because it shows him like here's the birth, the problem, him growing up, him adapting, him adjusting to his powers, him adjusting to who he should be.
Yeah, because to me he's like Superman. Like it just feels like the default superhero.
Right.
Like it's like even like the name itself, just like
you look at like
a man,
Iron Man, Captain America, any Marvel film. They can say, well, we all follow a blueprint. Yeah, the blueprint.
So I think it's the hero's journey. Is that
right? Yeah, you all follow the Superman, the Christopher Reeve
formula.
Superman. Yeah, it's a tried and true deal there. There's no one who's broken away from it and succeeded. Now you have to get them up there. So we went and saw that, but I bought myself a ticket, him a ticket, and he wanted to take a buddy. And originally his brother was going to go, but he couldn't go, so we took a buddy. I paid, my ticket was like $18 for a noon showing.
Dude, whoa!
And then
you can see it in like the AMC 17, like
somewhere up here in Greenwood.
Okay, or the Regal.
Yeah, but then the kids' prices were like it was $2 off, so I was paying $16 a ticket for them. So here I am out $50 some odd dollars on that. My biggest like I guess weakness in life, my Achilles heel. I love popcorn.
Yeah,
popcorn like
it's
movie theater popcorn. And a Coke, you might as well. If I have a last dinner in prison, it is going to be a movie theater butter popcorn and Coke, and that is going to be it.
Yeah, both of those things are designed for you to like not stop. You just indulge until you don't have any more.
But I got a big tub of popcorn. I got the meal deal with the 2 Cokes and whatever, and then I bought his buddy, I got him a small popcorn.
Yeah,
a small
I'm sure that was
Coke.
like $100 by the end, over that by the
It
end
was
of
like
it.
$55,
Yeah.
$60. I'm like, so I'm basically out $110
Mm-hmm.
to watch a Superman film,
Yeah.
which, by the way, I wasn't the biggest fan of.
I mean, I hate that. Like, I wish I could love all of the superhero stuff. I love Deadpool. I love Spider-Man. Those are my two weaknesses for that. But everything
Sure.
else, and we watched the first Iron Man in film class, and
Yeah.
I think if I sit down and actually like give them time when I'm older, maybe I'll enjoy them. But like, just how quickly they come out and how I just they're just so mainstream, and it's just not my
Yeah.
nature. I think they used the word
I had some things. It wasn't, it wasn't anything,
contrarian. But yeah, go
There
ahead.
wasn't anything wrong with the film. The film was
Mm-hmm.
fine. My only issue with it was kind of predictable.
Okay.
It was very predictable.
Which that sucks.
And I didn't like that because there's a scene in it that, like, the bad guy, if you've ever read a Superman comic, or
Mhm.
even followed Superman, like watched the cartoon or whatever, not that I'm like the savant of it. I've just, I've seen the movies before that. I've seen a few of the cartoons with
Mhm.
the kids. You can figure out the bad guy pretty quickly. Like, you're like, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Because he's masked all the time. Like, no, I'm very confident I know who that is. So that was easy to figure out. The thing I didn't like the most was that, like, there's some pretty fundamental things about Superman that I think are pretty fundamentally, like, this is the way it is with him. And they kind of break away from that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like they broke away. Like, I didn't like the fact that his Kryptonian parents were. It was a different message. It was totally different from
Mm-hmm.
there. I didn't really care for, like, that. That Superman could be, that he is sort of like. He's not an anti-hero in this movie, but they kind of start to paint him as one a little bit. I really didn't like the idea that him and Lois Lane were already lovers and they were already in love with each other, and they
Oh,
knew
you
each other
kind of
from the jump. And I'm like, the whole great thing about Superman is that no one knows he's Clark Kent. Like, the greatest scene of any Superman film is that Christopher Reeve scene where he's going to tell Lois that he is Superman, and he, like, stands up and he, like, brings himself tall, and he almost seems like a completely different person at that point. Like, the glasses come off and he stands there. It's like, shit, that's Superman.
Yeah.
And then he puts the glasses on and hunches back over, and it's like, that's Clark Kent.
Clark.
Like, oh my god, like, he completely transformed himself without transforming himself. Where I think that's where everyone has struggled, is that, like, whether it was Brandon Routh Superman, any of the television versions, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
You look at him and say, like, yeah, you're a Superman, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious. Like, you're a Superman.
Yeah, just
like,
big chest, dark hair, white guy,
6'5",
jawline.
right? You're 6'5" and cut, and
Yeah.
you look like Superman. Your hair's like, you're Superman. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it's pretty obvious. But, like, with Christopher Reeve, it was like he showed it how he could change his posture. And when I watched the Christopher Reeve,
Physical acting I think is a very slept on art.
well, and he was a Juilliard actor.
Oh,
So
whoa.
I saw the Christopher Reeve doc, and they were talking about he's a Juilliard actor, and he goes through Juilliard. He wants to be a Broadway, Broadway legend is what he's trying to be. And he actually, his best friend at Juilliard is Robin Williams. So him and Robin Williams are like
Oh my God.
tight boys. And so when he gets Superman,
Superman and Aladdin.
well, Superman, like, the funny thing is, like, he gets that role, and one of the things Richard Donner says is that his Juilliard background is what nailed it for him, because he could do things like he could physically change himself without changing
Yeah,
himself.
he's not just the looks. Yeah.
So it was a great move. He had the perfect build for it, and he just was it. And he said, like, he wanted to do art films. He wanted to do things that were passion projects. And, when Donner got him to be Superman, he went to his professor at Juilliard. He said something. The professor was like, "Well, it's something like you sold out. How can you sell out? But you're going to get a paycheck, but you're selling out." And that's what he is. But then it's you watch that documentary. It was crazy that they talk about how Robin Williams was never the same after Christopher Reeve died. When Christopher Reeve died, Robin Williams told me he lost a part of him, and that was it. And then fast forward. Let's fast forward this story. It's crazy. One of my good friends is a professional violinist. I've known her from high school. She is one of the. I don't want to number it, but she is one of the top violinists in the world. Now, if she's listening to this, she's probably like, I'm not. But She is.
How far are we in right now? Just to see.
I don't know.
Hour 44. Believe that?
So
I knew it'd be good. Mm-hmm.
But for her, so she lives in Denmark with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Her and her husband, they play violin together. They travel the world. They're professional musicians. They teach a little bit, and so they come back and teach at the IU School String Academy.
Okay.
So at the IU String Academy, they teach their, like, basically they're lauded as these pianos, but she's just Sarah. So Sarah and I get together every time she comes in. We get together for dinner. And our families get together and we hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter and my daughter, my youngest child, are they're only a month apart.
Oh, wow.
A few months apart.
That's cool.
So when they got in, they're very excited to see each other. It's very good. And so this last time they came in, we had Mother Bear's Pizza. We're sitting there, and we were talking about that Christopher Reeve doc, and she's like, "Well, I was at the funeral." I'm like, wait, what?
What?
She's like, "Yeah, I was." She's like, "I was at in NYU, is where she was at. She was studying, and she was doing stuff there after IU. And she's like, I was there, and I was performing. They said, we want your top musicians, your top, string players, to play at his funeral."
That's
so she's
what
like,
an honor.
She's like, I met like Robin Williams, Glenn Close. I met all these celebrities there, and I'm just playing for the funeral of Christopher Reeves.
What a juxtaposition to be like, this is so cool, but also like, wish these were different circumstances.
And I'm sitting here going I'm like stunned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I never knew this.
That's crazy.
And for her and I, we stay very close.
Mm-hmm.
We stay in close contact. We always have. Her husband is super awesome. He is he's very, very European. I love that about him. He's so cool. He's so cool. Roland is one of the coolest people ever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we get together. And she said that, so I was like, oh my god, like I'm kind of starstruck for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you measure someone how good are they? And I looked at my kids like, you want to know how good Sarah is? Like, yeah. I was like, she's on Spotify. No. Yeah. She has albums on Spotify. And the guy showed us like, she is on Spotify. Like, play her songs. I'm like, okay. And I play, and it's her playing violin.
Mm-hmm.
And so my youngest and my daughter's like, she goes, this isn't music. I'm like, yes, it is. She's like, no, it's not music. They're not singing. I'm like, well, okay. You're 7. Your concept of the world is Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter, right?
Yes,
like,
right.
You don't like.
Which is also music.
It is music,
but
this is a different kind of music.
The orchestras walked so they could run.
So I mean, as Sarah's playing, Bach,
Mm-hmm.
and
right,
playing, these Bach symphonies by herself. It's like, oh, well, do you know Taylor Swift?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know her.
No,
must not be that good of a musician. As we await the next album of
there's a guy I work with named Mark. He's one of the biggest Taylor Swift fans I've ever met. He's older than both of us.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very sweet man, and we have these meetings every Tuesdays, and he was like, guys, and because he does like this like safety speech every week, and he's like before he even he's like, listen, big news. And I was like, all right, wow, good for those people.
Well, yeah, she is an ultra talented songwriter.
I have a lot of respect for Taylor Swift.
Ultra talented songwriter, ultra talented musician.
Performer. It's insane. Like she has like 3-hour-long shows. I would fall apart.
I watched her concert on Disney Plus, and it was.
I still need to do that.
It was awesome. It was good.
How well is it shot? I'm sure there's like plenty of
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
really
good. You're good. Okay. I'm sure it's good. Why not even ask that?
It's huge respect for her. I don't really care for all of her stuff.
Yeah,
but stuff catches, but
it's not for us,
No, but it's also too like people like, well, people you get mad because she's on football. Like, I don't care less about it. I can care less about her being there.
I think it's cool that it's like blurring those lines now.
The only thing that irritates me is that as a sports fan, when the NFL comes out and says we're gonna revolve our TV schedule around her concert schedule, it's like, hold on a second.
Yeah,
wait a second here. I get it. I'm trying to get ratings, but like, let's pump the brakes just a little bit here.
I know there's comedians who route their schedules around like they want to go see all the home games or whatever their favorite sports teams. Like that's cool. You have the willing to do that. But if it works the other way, where it's like, oh well, Bill Burr's going to be at the Paramount. We got to make sure we want to make sure we have a game there or whatever. I mean, that feels a little outlandish.
We saw Bill Burr. We saw him live at Butler. He's
a
show. He's a great show.
He's been doing comedy forever.
He has been. I mean, he was on the Chappelle show.
Mhm.
I remember him being on the
Oh, yeah.
Chappelle show too. But with the whole Taylor Swift thing, I mean, she is so talented. And she connects to people.
Mhm.
She connects to so
Certainly.
many people
And she's also, we're talking about my buddy at work.
of all ages.
She's been famous my entire life.
Yeah, it's not just a connection to not a connection to so many people. It's
Mhm.
people of all ages. Like
Yeah,
there are
she's timeless.
young girls who are my daughter's age who love her.
Mhm.
There are women I know, former friends of mine, or former swimmers and athletes of mine. They're in their 20s, late 20s, and they go to the concerts and
Mhm.
they're all in on it. And then I know women who are my age in their 40s and 50s who are obsessed with her, and they like her lyrics speak to people of multiple generations because
Mhm.
either you haven't lived it and you're looking forward to it,
Yeah, like being 22.
right, or you are living it,
Mhm.
or you have lived it and you reminisce it.
Yeah.
So I mean, good for her.
Yeah, dude.
Like, absolutely good for her. Again, sometimes not my cup of tea. I mean, you're not going to see me driving around 465 listening to Taylor Swift.
I mean, if it's on my playlist, it's on my playlist.
But
you
if
know.
it's, I mean, I got some other things I'm into right now.
Mhm.
Found the band The Growlers, and I've been listening to
Oh,
their
yeah.
stuff. Like
I'm getting
nonstop.
into Blues Traveler.
Blues Travel. Oh my god, I saw them in concert just not too long ago.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've seen them probably 2 or 3 times
Mhm.
at different like X Fest.
Yeah.
and
Whenever
stuff like
whenever you
that.
talked about how like whenever an author dies and then their works are
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it's like this has been there the whole time. I was like, every memory of mine has the Blues Traveler has been success. They were on Stern in the 90s. They were.
Yeah, they were.
Mhm,
John Popper is a killer harmonica player.
Oh, yeah.
When they came out, they were kind of a one-hit wonder.
Mhm.
They, I mean,
Well, with
Turnaround. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was.
yeah.
They were a one-hit wonder in the way they had other songs that kind of were.
Yeah, because Hook I think is my favorite. Because I have this playlist I listen to only at Starbucks when I do writing sessions for comedy, and that's the beginning of it. And I was like, I listened to the lyrics like in depth last
Yeah.
time, and I was like, oh, this is a very smart song.
Yeah.
It's very.
Hook was that was big too. I mean, it was like the album hit, but then when the second album came, it never captured the same like audience.
Yeah.
That was kind of the thing of the '90s was that is that when you were like there were a lot of bands that their first album was so massive. It was so big, like you can call it like the Hootie and the Blowfish.
Okay.
Like Hootie and the Blowfish Crack Review. There wasn't a person on earth who didn't have that album or didn't listen to them. They were everywhere. Second album came out, it was like, we're kind of burnt out on you.
Was Sublime like that?
No, Sublime was like under the radar big, and then Brad Knoll dies, and as he dies, they had just finished shooting the What I Got video.
Oh, wow.
Off the Sublime album,
Which
and
is
so-
self-titled, which is okay.
Yeah. And so he dies, and then it kind of becomes this thing like, oh, there's this like ska rock band out of California. Their lead singer died, but they weren't big, but they were kind of like knocking on the doorstep of like trying to get that first video through. So MTV played that song on heavy rotation, and it just blew up. And then of course like Santeria comes out, and like it's like old videos of Brad Knoll. They have him like in a ghost kind of way.
Oh,
and
wow.
so they put out probably 4 or 5 singles from that album, just because they tried to milk it as long as they could. But that was it. Like most people didn't have. Like, a lot of people were buying up the previous albums, but people like everyone. I mean, there were some albums that we had in high school that everyone had. Like Sublime was an album that everyone had. I feel like Metallica's Black Album was an album that most everyone had. Nirvana, Nevermind.
Yeah.
People had those albums. There was a large swath of people who had Beck's Yellow Gold, Mellow Gold. We had that album. There was stuff that people had and we just listened to all the time, whether it went or didn't go.
I feel like because I listen to albums all the way through. I love doing that, but that's so uncommon these days because it's not physical format. There's no CD player. You're all distracted. There's ads between stuff if you don't have the right streaming and whatnot.
Right.
And also, I think the cool part about it is that it's so easy to make a playlist. I have so many playlists. So they just it sets my vibes up and everything.
Well, and the hard part with the playlist thing is that like you make the playlist to your likes, what you like in it, and what you're doing. Well, that's great, but like the algorithms will then, hey, here's a new music for you. And as you're getting that new music, it's like, okay, cool. Like, oh, I like this. Yes, it's similar to this. It's just the same kind of.
Right. Yeah.
So you don't. That's why I always relied on students to give me something new. What are we listening to now? Whenever as a swim coach, we always had a stereo in the pools, and so I always, hey, bring in a mix CD of some kind, guys.
That's fun. That's
and
really
so
fun.
Listen to some things.
I would have taken such advantage of that.
So like when I was at Martinsville, we had the Bluetooth, so I would just hook up to my Spotify. I just run my Spotify on it, and I just kept adding songs and adding songs and adding songs. Like, hey, add this song. Okay, we'll add that song, and we would add these songs to it. Now, if I didn't like the song, I'd be like, that's not staying on the list. I'm in charge of the radio.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, you gotta have some sort of, put your foot
But
down.
I was coaching at Southport when I was first teaching in Indianapolis, and they were doing a community day of some kind. So they had like they told us that coaches, we had to open up our facilities. So the pool was open. I was like, all right, make sure you got guards, okay. He goes, and the athletic director at the time, his name was Pete. He was like, "Do we have any music for here?" Like, yeah, I got some music. He goes, okay. He goes, what do you got? I was like, well, I got Weezer back there. He was like, what the hell's a Weezer? I go, it's a band. All the rocking kids think it's pretty hip. He goes, I don't know what it is. And he walks away. He's like, what the hell is a Weezer?
A Weezer. That's fun.
So we always laugh at it. So like me and the kids, like the kid Michael Gerhardt and I and Austin Williams, John Kirtland, we just said, like, what are we playing? It's like, we're playing that. What's a Weezer?
What's a Weezer?
Play what's a Weezer? Like,
That's so funny because I'm doing the drum covers right now. That's awesome. Actually, the first time I was like, this swim coach guy might have some cool points was when it was the world has turned and left me. That song was playing on like it was like we're like doing like reading time, and I heard it and I was like, that sounds like the Buddy Holly guys. And then I asked you, I was like, is this Weezer? You go, yes. Yeah. And I was like, cool. And I think I Shazammed it without you knowing or something, and then I put it on my list or whatever.
I as a teacher did so many probably things that you should never do, and I just did it and didn't care. And I just like for example, I love the Masters. I don't like to watch golf. I think golf's boring. I like to play golf, but I think golf to watch is kind of boring. But I love the Masters. I love the view of it. I love the beauty of it. I think it's just so artistically beautiful, like the way the courses are set up. So Masters week, they starts on Thursday and Friday. I ran that thing through my computer and put it on the big screen. I was like, I'm going to teach, and that's going to be playing in the background. I don't care. And like, I just didn't care. Like
that reminds me of Coach G, Evan Gellert. He was, I don't know if you probably a little bit overlap with you guys. One time I walked into his business class. It was the last period of the day, second trimester of my senior year. Yeah. I'm just ready to leave school eventually. Right. And he walked in. He's like, the fantastic Mr. Fox is on YouTube free with ads. Are we all cool watching that today? We're like, yeah, go right ahead. And that was my introduction to Wes Anderson. I had no idea about his style.
So during the COVID year,
which was when I had you, yeah.
When we weren't allowed to come to school.
Oh yeah, when we were on red.
And we had to, so they made us teachers come to school, but you guys weren't allowed to. So I had to sit in my room, and they'd be like, you got to sit in your room, door closed. You couldn't even interact with people.
That sucks. That's terrible.
So I had a co-teacher I taught with, Brandon Hewitt, not Brandon Floyd, but Brandon Hewitt. She was my co-teacher, and her and I got along great. We got along awesome, and so we were.
Was she like tall, blonde? Okay, yeah. Did she also have Miss Shoemaker? Because I think I had.
She helped out.
Yeah, that certainly had. Okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Brandon and I one day we were just bored. We were in the room. We were trying to plan some stuff, and we were just kind of like talking, just looking up stupid stuff, and we stumbled upon Frozen Dead Guy Day.
Yeah, I was gonna bring this up. Yeah.
So we stumbled across Frozen Dead Guy Day, and we were so fascinated with it. I have a video of like me showing my wife it and just saying like, if we're just, and my wife in the video was like, I'm glad that, said the superintendent's name, like, I'm glad he's so concerned about you guys being in the building that this is what you're looking at. Frozen Dead Guy Day. And I've been obsessed with this.
It's a festival.
I do, and I want to go to it. It's changed hands a couple times. Grandpa Burrito in the Frozen, in the Tough Shed.
Yeah, God. There's so much lore to it. Yeah, because you showed everyone, and you were just like, check this out, guys. I was like, what is this?
Then it's like, I was all about it. So I was like, we totally stopped class. We stopped for a day, and every single class had to watch the Frozen Dead documentary.
This. Oh, yes.
And to make it educational, we made a worksheet with it.
Yeah.
So you had to do it. And so, like, I remember, like, all the other teachers were like, "You can't do that. We're doing this day." I was like, "The hell I can! Fire me! I don't care."
That's right.
And so
There's a pandemic. We got to keep our spirits up, and boy did it.
I did that for every year. Every year after that, until I stopped teaching.
I remember I stopped you in the hallway because I didn't know your face without your mask on. So I was like, I think that's him. And I was like, "Hey, Frozen Dead Guy days," and you were like, "Yep."
When everyone got to take them off and everyone had to see their faces, there were certain people I remember like going like, "Dude, that's what you look like." I had that exact face, and I remember I won't say who the person was, but there was one girl that like she looked so different to the point of like I didn't recognize her, and I like saw her regularly. She's like, "Hey, girl," I'm like, "Hey, I don't know who the hell that is."
Damn.
And it was probably a year and a half later. I was like, she's like, "I had you in class." I'm like, "When?" Like I said, and she was explaining. I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
That's not you. You're someone." It's like, "Oh my god, you are completely."
I know, because eyes, we've covered the eyes up. They censor people in the news like that,
Right.
But when it's just the eyes, everything else is like left to it. And the voice is one thing you can attach to, but like the mouth placement, your beard shape, how if you can have one, it's all it all plays a huge point. We all have the same features, but everyone for the most part has a different face.
So yeah. But Frozen Dead Guy Day was predicated upon my boredom during COVID.
That's awesome.
We were just
I
sitting
love
there.
that.
We had we watched that documentary probably 2 or 3 times. Brandon and I did. We made the worksheet. We're doing this. We had the Frozen Dead Guy Day. We made the Frozen Dead Guy Day logo. We had the board all day. We took a picture. We did it on the day of the festival.
Yeah.
The opening day of the festival.
It was in February, right? March. Okay.
March. We did it on that March, and we were like, "This is what we're gonna do." And her and I were like, "We're gonna go to it one day. We're gonna go to it. This is what it is." And it is, we never went.
Right.
It is at the time, it is a very dirty hippie festival.
Yeah, no.
And we're like, I can't do this. But supposedly someone else is starting to run it now. I still get the emails about it. I still have my Frozen Dead Guy Day shirt.
Yeah, I remember you had the shirt. Yeah.
I have my program. I have stickers on my fridge out there in the garage. It's Frozen Dead.
That's fun.
One of the more fun things. But it was always like about for me like I'm gonna have fun with it. I don't care. I think it tripped out like a couple kids. I remember it probably was the COVID year. But that COVID year, there was a couple kids. I had 3 kids in class that were just like weird kids, and they were cool. I liked them. They were weird kids, and they made a PowerPoint slide of me, a 150-page PowerPoint slide of just my face to present for one.
Wait, was it Blaine and?
Yeah.
That's fun. I know those guys. Yeah.
So
they're Muncie
they did
dudes.
this, and
I forgot about this.
They did this, and I sat there, and it was like, did they do the assignment? Sure. Did they meet all the requirements? Sure. Was it 150 slides of my face? It was. Yeah. And so I was like, you get an A. And they were like, wait a minute. We actually are going to get a grade for this? Like, yeah. I'm giving you an A.
Would you get cool points because it's like you're playing along, like you're not shaming them for having fun with it. Yeah,
we have fun with it, and so we did that, and so it was my last year there. They did it in Henderson's room. They did the Wallow John, and they did like all these like clip arts, or they did like the of my face and different things.
Yeah, where I feel like they did like, because I think Into the Spider-Verse was big.
Yeah.
And so it was like different variations.
John.
Yeah, dude.
And it was pictures of me everywhere. And I would go in there and eat lunch with Henderson, and like there would be all these pictures of me, and I'm like, what the hell? But it came to a head. It came to a head one day in April. So it might as well have been the greatest prank that was ever played, and it was done by accident. So I was taking a personal day the next day. I was taking a personal day. I was not coming in. I can't remember why I was taking a personal day, but I had something going on. I was going on a field trip to look at something. And so Blaine and Thomas and Gabe had found out that I was taking a personal day. I think I told them or something like that. I was like, yeah. Joking, I was like, hey, make sure no one's in trouble around here, okay? Okay, yeah. Or it might have been, actually, I know how they found out. So Taylor Long was one of my swimmers, and she was also an aide of mine. And she ran around with them. So she told me, like, yeah, Kirtland's going to be out today. So Blaine got a picture of me framed, like a little picture of me, put it by my door with 2 little candles, right? And so someone had already put like the no door, meet in the auditorium for my class. So apparently a janitor discovers it and thinks I'm dead. So they call like a Bolin, they call all the administrators like, he died. He's like, what? And they're like, oh, there's a memorial for him outside the door. I think someone had brought in and put flowers down in front of him. It might have been one of them, I don't know. So this whole thing is there. So Shoemaker walks in, who's right next to me, and she's like, what? And she's stunned. So she's calling the front office like, hey, there's a memorial. Did he die? What's going on? So like, I'm on my personal day. So when you guys submit that the day before, right? So my phone is blowing up.
That's
from
awesome.
Martinsville.
That is awesome.
And I had a thing, and I may have been angry about it, I don't know, but I had this thing where I was like, I'm not answering the phone because if you can't figure out my sub plans and what I did, if I did everything right, screw you. Figure it out. And so it's going on and on and on and on and on. So finally, Kip Staggs calls me because Kip and I are really close.
I just saw Brody at the gym. Yeah.
Kip and I are real close, and I see Kip call, and I'm like, all right. So I pick up. I was like, what's up, Kip? And he goes, you're alive. I'm like, yeah. Why are you guys blowing my phone? What's the problem there? And he goes, so someone made a memorial of you. I was like, what? It's like, people think you died. The janitor, I guess, was so upset over it that she went home. Like, she left for the day. And they said that she was like distraught and everything, and she couldn't handle it. Because I always treat the janitor. I saw him after swim practices. A lot of times if we had extra food.
And they work so hard. It's a huge school to take care of.
But if we always had breakfast in the morning for the swimmers, and any extra breakfast I gave the janitors. So they had, like,
that's awesome.
They knew me, they loved, and I guess she was so distraught she went home crying, and like it was like this rumor going around the building that I died, and like so I guess there had to been they first of all they had to look at the camera, see who did it. They thought it was them. They call them down, ask them why they did it, and they're like, I don't know, we thought it'd be funny.
And it was.
So
this is the what? The
2022
or 2022?
Had been 2020 or 2021 or 2022. So.
Yeah, because if it was their senior year, then it would have been my junior year.
Yeah, it was their senior.
I don't remember this at all.
He didn't get punished for it because they called me like, "Do you want us to?" Like, they asked me what we want to do. I was like, "I don't care." No, I was like, "They're just joking around. It's fine." And so I just blew it off. And no, but it was one of the more funny things.
That's so funny. It's so memorable too.
Well, and so on my Facebook, I had that picture. I took a picture. I think he took a picture and sent it to me. Someone took a picture and sent it to me, and I had it, and I kept it on my Facebook profile. I was like, and like, I had some other persons going like, dude, that's not funny, man. Like, I
The
thought
black
you
and
were
white
gonna die.
bit,
Like, and so
that's so damn funny.
oh, it's probably one of the most.
And it's like no one got hurt. I mean, Liddy going home, that's pretty tough. But I mean, like, it's just the plate, like the candles is what sells it, man. The fact that it's meet in the auditorium, it's like, oh, there's a memorial service already planned.
Well, not even a memorial, but they were like, I think people thought like it was going to be like I'm going to find out what happened. Like, oh, they're going to tell us like, oh, well, like, this is what happened to him, or hey guys, if you want counseling or all this stuff like that, you can do that. It was never there, and yeah, I think I've got the picture right here. So it's this is what it started off as.
Okay, see that? Yeah, that I do. That's starting to remind me.
Candles and everything, and it was just, what the hell are we doing? And it was so. I came back the next day, and like, there are people coming and going like, that wasn't funny. I'm like, I didn't do it,
dude.
I think it's hysterical.
That is so funny, and also like it's, faking your own death is like that's frowned upon. You didn't do it, right? But you got the benefit of like who. You found out who cares.
The only
like that's got to feel good, right?
The only people who knew that I had that personal day was Robin Dorsett, because he had turned into her. So she had it on. Like, I filled out the form and I handed her. I was like, here you go. She said, okay, okay. No, we were so short on subs that we didn't have enough subs anyway.
Yeah.
So
the sub room became a thing. Yeah.
Right, which was the auditorium for a while. Like, we had maybe 1 or 2 building subs. So if you had more than 4 or 5 people out that day, you didn't really question it. So when they go around and start putting on the doors like, hey, meet in the auditorium, these class will meet in the auditorium, you knew you had to go to the sub room or whatever.
Which is always, it is, I'm like, oh, I get to do nothing. That's
but then
awesome.
It's
euchre time. That's what that meant.
Right. I don't think they put the picture out yet. But the sign was up, and they put that down there, and all of a sudden, as people are walking by, they're like, "Wait a second!" Like it started to be like, "Wait a minute!" And
it's such a wholesome photo of you too. Yeah.
Oh, it was a picture that was taken from the newspaper, is what it was.
Oh, really?
They took a picture of the newspaper. Like Blaine even made it. He made a T-shirt. Like so during the
It's elaborate, dude.
during the COVID year, we had to do the awards ceremony because we had our last meet. We had the state meet, and the next week we shut down for COVID.
Oh yeah.
So we were like right there. So like
March 15th, 2020.
Yep. And the weekend before that we had Boise State, March 13th, and so Friday the 13th, yeah. And so we so we, you know, I forget where I was going with that. Yeah. I know. So we had the awards banquets. We had to do them, but we were still shut down. We couldn't do it. It was in the summer, so we had to do virtual ones. So I filmed myself and put it on YouTube. And I was like, "Hey, we got these awards." And I could find somewhere. He found it. He screenshotted it, took the picture, put it on a T-shirt, and just put in like a meme letters.
Yeah, meme font. Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
And he wore it to school. And I was like, he was like, "Do you feel weirded out by this?" Like, no, man. Keep going.
Yeah.
Like, take it as far as you
Because
can.
I remember it being like a whole thing where I was like, dude, like, because like I said, I didn't know exactly what your face looked like, and I wasn't around your side of the building that often because I just wouldn't pass your,
Right.
because you're on that corner basically.
Like corner
Yeah.
right next to the pool.
Yeah, right. That's actually. Did you get that room on purpose, or you just worked out that way?
It worked out that way.
That's perfect.
I
Then.
think it worked out that way. It was just it was conveniently put that way because when I got hired in Martinsville, I was not the swim coach.
Yeah.
I was hired to come in to teach English, and that I was going to be like, I wasn't the assistant athletic director because we didn't have that title yet, but I was doing all the supervisions. I was doing all the after school stuff for them. So it was kind of what it was. So it was like you're the assistant AD without the title. So okay, and that was what it was. But then after that year, then they gave me the title of it. But like, no, it was it just happened to work out that way because I wasn't planning on coaching. I wasn't planning on doing any coaching for them. They knew I was a swim coach. They knew my background. So, but the coach who was there left, weeks before the season started. They were kind of in a bind.
Dude.
So originally I was going to do it just for that season, just to get them through it. Okay. We did it for that season. Then COVID hit. So then it became can you do it another season? Because we're not going to find anybody during COVID. I'm like,
right.
I'll do it another year. And then it just kind of stuck. I just stuck to it that way. I mean, I wasn't planning on coaching.
You just, like you said, you fell into it. Yeah.
It just kind of worked out that way. So, but yeah, no, it was good. My time in Martinsville, I look back on it highly. Like I've told Kip, him and I are still very close, and I've told Bolin and others. I'm like, if I ever went back to teaching, there's only one place I'm going. It's Martinsville.
That's awesome.
I would only go back there because the town was so good to me, and everyone was so kind to me. Everyone was so warm and so welcoming. Growing up in Bloomington, Martinsville has those stigmas. I was a senior in high school when the whole thing went down with Bloomington North and them, and the whole stuff, the basketball game stuff and everything. And I remember that vividly. I was a senior in high school, and it was.
So that's the other school,
right? So I was, I'm at the rival school, but I never felt any of that. Every town has their chuckleheads. Every town has it, but like, I never ever once felt like, at any point, that anybody at Martinsville was nothing more than just good, nice, awesome people. It's all they are. People, people work hard to like grow the town. Just from, gosh, I haven't worked there in 3 years, 3 years. 3 years, has to be 3 years.
Because I'm working my third. Yeah.
It's been 3 years, but I have clients in Martinsville that I work with. I have people in business I work with there, and I stop in. It's like, wow. Look at this growth. It's growing. It's growing more and more and more, and that's what really it was like. It's just really great. I love to see it. The year the highway was shut down sucked, but it was. It's great to see that.
We got an overpass out of it though,
right?
And then that's a direct shot to Arby's as a band kid after school with no license, like a good euro every now and then, or every day.
It's such a good town. It's such a good place, and it's.
Yeah, I'll always call that place home because I don't actually live in Martinsville, but I live on the border of Morgan County and then Owen County, And
Oh,
so
so you're not a Gosport area.
yeah, I have a Gosport address. Yeah,
Okay.
but the closest Dollar General is in Paragon,
Mhm.
and then I hang out in Bloomington, and I work in Spencer. So I'm just
Okay.
everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Like right in the middle of the triangle where Spencer, Martinsville, and Bloomington make,
Mhm.
and I know all the back roads. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a. I have a former student that lives down that way right now.
Mhm.
From when I taught at Decatur Central, she's down that way.
Mhm.
I actually helped. I was actually where I got my first start in coaching. We opened. I was one of the swim instructors that helped open the Owen County YMCA.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
So yeah, I used to drive from Bloomington to Spencer to go coach out there for
Mhm.
a while.
46, easy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So and I think I went out there for some reason to drop something off or get something from them
Mhm.
about a year or two ago, and I remember getting there and one person who worked there when I was there still works there. And I was like, "You remember me?" And they're like, "I do remember you."
I thought you died.
Yeah, you didn't die. I saw a thing on, on
No shit,
Facebook about
yeah.
it. But no, Martinsville is it's such a good town. It's
Mhm.
such a good community. It really is. You know, again, you're gonna have chuckleheads anywhere.
Yeah.
You're always gonna have that. The unfortunate part is that they have a stigma they can't shake.
Yeah, certainly.
And,
And,
you know,
it's not one person can change it either, and
and,
people got to forget. Yeah, it's hard to.
And what the whole thing, I think was your junior year with the football team. There was that whole thing that
With
happened.
the TikTok thing that blew up. Yeah. Mhm.
That was so stupid, and that shouldn't have been blown up. I was actually in Chicago when that happened. I was at a Cubs game.
Oh
And I
wow.
got a text message saying like, "Hey, where are you? Can you get here?" I'm like, "I'm at Wrigley Field."
Yeah.
I took a picture of the center. I was like, "I'm at Wrigley Field right now. I can't get there." I was like,
You're like, dude, I'm literally in heaven,
they
not
go,
dead, but
okay,
I'm.
like we got a situation, but like, don't worry about it. We'll fill you in later. I was like, okay. So we got home and I got to work on Monday, and I was like, fill me in. So they
Mhm.
started filling us in on what was going on and everything. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Um,
Social media just ran with that pretty bad.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate because it was not ill intended. It was not meant to be ill intended whatsoever. It's just, someone wanted to make a big deal. And
Mhm.
if I've learned anything, in life is that, we just have so many people right now that are looking for something.
Yeah,
They're looking
certainly.
for that moment for them. They want to catch you. They want to see it.
Mhm. Yeah, everyone's putting out bait. Mhm.
Well, we like to see people fall.
Mhm.
That's the hard part, is that like celebrities, we like to see them fall. We want to see them fall from grace. Like, I think that's like going back to Taylor Swift. I think people want to see her just fall.
Yeah.
They want to see that fall happen. It's not going to happen.
No, dude, she's solidified.
It's not even that. She still has more of an upward trajectory. Like, think about it.
I think you're right.
Her music career can still go more upward. I don't know how much more upward. Nobody can still go upward. And then you also factor in, she's in a relationship with a football player who
It's like almost went 3 times. Yeah.
we haven't seen them even hit the engagement wedding yet.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
yeah.
So there still is another level to her that we've not seen yet.
Mhm.
That when it happens, if she hasn't fallen by then, but if it happens, it will be like worldwide television kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude. They're gonna be our king and queen.
Like, it's I've told this to people that I don't remember anybody being at her level, with the exception of one person. It was Michael Jackson.
Right. Yeah.
Michael Jackson could go anywhere in the world. He could sell out an arena, and he could have people dying to get in that arena.
Yeah.
She's the only person that's ever done it. Some have done it in the U.S. Some have done it like in Europe, but no one has been able to go to like
Internationally.
I'm going to China.
Yeah,
I'm going to Japan.
That's taking over the planet. That's that's ridiculous.
There's no place that she has not gone. where she has
Eskimos
not-
singing love story.
Right. She's she's got people over in Cape Town doing Shake It Off.
Yeah, right.
But like,
And she just has so many hits, man, for forever.
yeah,
So many.
It's just, she goes anywhere, and the fact that people were like, yeah, I'm taking a flight from America to, Brazil to go watch her there because it's actually gonna be less expensive for me to do that. Like, ridiculous. I mean, it's
Just to go see her, Dan.
Right.
And she did Lucas Oil like for 3 or 4
days.
Yeah, it was last November, right?
But then it's
Crazy.
the only place I've ever seen that with is Michael Jackson, and I was a kid watching it because I remember HBO aired one of his concerts live, and so I was at a buddy's house and we watched it live, and just to see like the screaming, the people going, the people at
people
like
passing out and like.
well, yeah, at the front of the stage, and they're screaming, and they're like pulling people over
Yeah.
and taking them for medical attention because they're passing out from screaming so much, and they're getting, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah. Let's just hope T Swift doesn't have a similar downward trajectory. That would be terrible.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
hopefully
let's preserve. You know.
as long as she doesn't build an amusement park in her
Yeah.
in her driveway, we're good. Yeah, or has a pet monkey named Bubbles.
Yeah.
But no.
Now that we said it, I think it won't happen. I think we should. I think it's good. Well, we've gone 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's longest one I've done in a while, and we could easily do. I bet we could do 4 hours.
Oh, easily.
I'm sure. And so I want to hear more about the Bloomington North and Martinsville stuff because I that was before my time, and you had an outside perspective of that. Like maybe next episode you're gonna come back on. This is easy. You're an easy return guest.
Yeah, that was it. That was a
So
crazy
we should pick up on that, and maybe who knows. Maybe we'll get more intel on the 10th Tarantino film, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully his new director.
I love to hear, like, when it comes to films, like, I love to hear people, like what's your take? What's your, like, so the one I remember put on Facebook once, I was watching one of the Rockies on AMC.
Oh, yeah?
I said, all right, people, let's do it. Rank your Rockies.
Okay, that's a fun.
No explanation. I don't want to hear my favorite, best, worst.
Just rank them.
How do you rank them? And
Dang.
you know, and it was crazy to see where like people put certain ones, and then that's like once you've ranked them, then you can explain them. Like you can defend it. So like, why would you put Rocky 3 ahead of all the rest? Why did you put Rocky 4 so low?
Yeah.
Rocky 5 obviously is the bottom of the basement for everybody, but like, where do they all go to? I think like Tarantino films are that way too. Like it's like you have 9 films, rank them.
Yeah,
and no, no explanation, just rank them.
Well, I guess Death Proof would be towards the bottom for most people, but like I think people like
only because people haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's such a fun movie.
Right. I mean,
it's like a nod to Christine, but it's also a slasher, but it's also a badass stunt movie, and like it's also like women empowerment. They just take over the whole thing, and
it's only at the bottom because people haven't seen it. Like Dusk Till Dawn, a lot of people didn't see that film, so it's near the bottom. People will always put like, oh Paul, oh this, you know. Where's Reservoir Dogs hidden?
Yeah, I know.
Where's Jackie Brown hidden?
I love Jackie Brown.
You know, where does
Robert De Niro is so funny in that.
Jackie Brown is
he just shoots her at the parking lot.
It's such a great film. So again, where do you rank these sometimes? And that's where it's like, I think those are such really cool discussions. Yeah.
I had Matt Smith do the Back to the Future. I wanted to start doing commentaries. Like in the winter and stuff, so I'm sure you could easily do one of those.
We can do a commentary on just about anything. I'll jump on the Back to the Future with Matt Smith too.
That would be fun. Honestly, that would be very. Oh my god, that'd be very fun. Oh wow.
I just showed my 9-year-old Back to the Future.
That should be a good. That should be a good kickoff one.
It's a great show. It's a great movie. God, it's a great movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should wrap it up. About almost 2.5 hours. Like yeah. You'll. This is good. I'm glad I rekindled this with you.
Yeah. Anytime. I'm happy to.
Absolutely. Thank you for. You're so welcoming. You're just like I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I even asked you was because I was like, oh, I forgot John's cool because you talked about it when the new South Park episode came out. I was like, oh cool.
Man.
I know.
Those
We can't put it all in.
Have gone to another level.
And South Park's been a thing way more than my whole life. But like the older I get, it's like the wages like flying because I start to understand stuff.
I was a senior in high school when it aired, and I remember when we first saw it, we're like, "What is this?" I think I have the first 12 or 15 seasons on DVD.
I have the first 10 in DVD, and then I have season 17 for some random reason.
Right.
That's the ones where they do like Facebook and Xbox Wars and like during Black Friday. But it's so smart because it has fuel forever because it's current events. So I guess they'll do it till they die.
Even as I've gotten older, like certain, I mean, there's always characters you think are funny. Everything. As I've gotten older, man, it's like Randy Marsh might be the most hidden funny person on television. It's just great.
Integrity.
Randy Marsh and George Costanza's dad.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's so fun.
This is
All
awesome.
right.
Yeah, I appreciate this.
Oh,
Awesome.
absolutely. And then maybe I'll ask the questions I usually have for teachers next time. We didn't even get to those. Like,
We gotta, you know,
now you have to come back
we
on.
gotta do the part 2 now.
Oh,
We
absolutely,
actually-
I
actually
love
go
it.
to the questions. Yeah.
I love a good episode. This is a good long one because I'm keeping around like 100 minutes, which is like sometimes I'll be like, oh, we're not even an hour and I gotta stretch, but like this is I've talked at least. This is awesome. Yeah, this is good. You're good. You're a good podcaster.
Yeah, I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Mhm.
Probably what I do listen to most of. I consume a lot of podcasts.
Mhm.
But it's like sports podcasts, comedian podcasts,
Right.
More of the stuff that I'm interested in. But I'll consume probably, anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of podcast a day, and then
I'm more than that because of my job. I just have them on now all
Right.
the time.
it's just background noise to me.
Mhm.
But it's also cool to like intake it and have that
Certainly,
going,
yeah.
So
Now that's why I said like it's like a TV shows, But yeah. Well, till next time. I'll see you guys next week. And then, if you want, I'll get a little group chat going. You and Matt Smith. That'll be a fun episode. Oh wow! Because I want to pick movies that people know. So they don't have to watch it to kind of know what's going on. It can be in their brain.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one.
No,
Okay. All right. That's a good idea. Till next time, everybody. Next week. Peace.